Sure. Okay. I can probably even see what it looks like. My headphones are plugged in, so there shouldn't be any reverb. My headphones are plugged in, so there shouldn't be any reverb. My headphones are plugged in, so there shouldn't be any reverb. No.
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that.
No.
All right, so we are live now. Welcome everybody to the polymega mega
There we go.
stream. There we go. Sorry about that.
No.
It helps to actually like now hit the go live button. So
there we go. Yeah.
We are now
A little
live.
bit.
But Growing Pains, this is our very first polycast live. This is polycast episode 3, but it is the first time we are doing it live now. This is our very first
Yes.
very cool. We have Cat Pat with us, who is normally on the polycast, but now we are doing it live because we're gonna interact with you guys and see what's going on.
Oh, there's double audio coming.
Oh, I heard that too. Yeah, I heard double audio coming from. We're gonna interact. Give us a quick second. We're gonna see what's going on. Tons
Yeah,
of
not a
feedback.
problem.
Oh, I heard that too. Yeah, I heard double audio.
Interesting.
We're gonna interact. Give us a quick second. We're gonna see what's going on. Tons
Yeah,
of
not a
feedback.
problem.
Oh, I heard that too. Yeah, I heard double audio.
Interesting.
We're gonna interact. Give us a quick second. We're gonna see what's going on. Tons
Yeah,
of
not a
feedback.
problem.
Oh, I heard that too. Yeah, I heard double audio.
Interesting. Hello. Well, you can't hear me now? Interesting. Oh, okay.
Hello.
Thank God. All right. You get to test and debug.
You can't
in
hear
real
me now?
time. But what I can do while you're
Thank
doing
God.
that is perhaps I
Alright.
can go through some comments. Test and debug.
You can't
in
hear
real
me now?
time. But what I can do while you're
Thank
doing
God.
that is perhaps I
Alright.
can go through some comments. Test and debug.
You can't
in
hear
real
me now?
time. But what I can do while you're
Thank
doing
God.
that, I can hear Saru through my end though.
You can't hear me now?
Yeah, but
What I
can they hear?
Right, that's different. Yeah, I can hear Saru through my end though.
That's weird. Every time Cat talks, I hear him like 5 times.
Right, that's different. Yeah, I can hear Saru through my end though.
All right. Can you guys hear Cat?
Right, that's different. Yo, 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 yo.
I can hear Saru through my end though.
So weird though. All right, I hear you guys hear Cat 12 times.
Right, that's different. Yo, 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 yo.
I can hear Saru through
It's like you guys are shouting into the grid.
Yo,
and
yo, yo, yo.
Double.
Yeah.
Doing it by double now.
Okay. It's like you guys are we're obviously having
Yo, 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 yo.
issues
Yeah.
today.
Doing it by double now.
Okay. Well, we're obviously having
Yo, 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 yo.
issues
Yeah.
today.
Doing it by double now.
Well, we're obviously having issues
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, this looks very nice though.
It does, but
You still hear him?
Not with
double?
the audio.
there we go. All right. Can you guys hear?
Yeah,
me
this
now?
looks better. Very nice though.
It does, but
Saru has no feedback. It's only CapPad audio that has feedback. So it sounds like my voice isn't echoing super crazy now. It's only CapPad audio that has feedback. So it sounds like my voice isn't echoing super crazy now. It's only CapPad audio that has feedback. So it sounds like my
So I think
voice
this is
isn't
Cat. Is it Cat
echoing
Pat's voice?
super crazy now.
N-
Oh, it is now?
From it.
Because according to this guy. Oh, it is now? Oh, it is okay, so I'm the one echoing. Yep, okay.
See, look.
Oh, it is
When you
now?
do this-
It is okay, so I'm the one echoing. Yep, okay.
See, look.
Oh, it is
When you
now?
do this-
It is okay, so I'm the one echoing. Yep, okay.
See, look.
Oh, it is
When you
now?
do this-
Oh, it is. Are we good? Okay, so I'm the one echoing. Yep, okay.
See, look.
Oh, it is now? Am I
Are we good?
feedbacking crazy? Echo? Is there anything on my end I can change? Echo? Sure. Is there anything on my end I can change? It's empty. Echo? Yeah. I'm also live right now. No, you're fine. Sure. Is there anything on my end I can change? It's empty. Echo? Yeah. I'm also live right now. No, you're fine. Sure. Is there anything on my end I can change? It's empty. Echo? Yeah. Okay, just muted it. Live right now. Unmuted it. No, you're fine. Sure. Is there anything on my end I can change? It's empty. Echo? Yeah. Okay, just muted it. Live right now. Unmuted. Got it? Hallelujah.
Okay.
All right, we
All
figured
right.
it out. It was capturing the browser audio. It was on. We had
Ah.
the podcast on one of the tabs on the other monitor. So, and I didn't see it that it was playing live.
Okay.
So I think no feedback now. All right.
There we go. Perfect.
I think we're okay. If you guys can hear CatPat, then we are good.
Yo,
Yeah,
hello.
looks like Streamlabs was capturing this audio. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So, Polycast episode 3 starting swimmingly with no issues whatsoever.
No.
None of that happened. Everyone's just joining us now, right now. So,
All scripted.
Anyway, so everybody, welcome Pat Cat. He is the regular on the Polycast. Eventually,
Hello.
I don't know if one of the questions that somebody asked in the comments last time, Pat, was if we wanted to have like other people on the stream.
Yeah,
People who
I was thinking about that.
have polymegas.
You know, it'd be cool to have Pop Pixel on. He seems like a really nice guy. I've been part of his streams before, so maybe he would be one to reach out. Only because
Yeah.
he's a beta tester as well.
Yeah, he'd be cool. And he's a nice
I don't.
guy.
Yeah, yeah. What is there anyone you were thinking of?
I think somebody mentioned it in the comments. I'm not sure if he was mentioning it because he wanted to be on it.
No.
He was a beta tester.
Right.
I didn't see who. I don't remember who it was. We'll have to go and look at the comments at
Sure.
some point and see who.
No, it's an idea I'd like to explore, for sure.
Cool. All right. So we'll talk about that when we get into like the comments of the last video. But,
Yeah.
Technical difficulties aside, how are you this week?
I'm good. You know, I don't really know what to add. I spent a lot of time configuring the Mister. Funny enough, I know this is the polycast, but we'll talk about the comparisons later, I would assume. But or maybe sooner. I don't know. But all I can say is, bottom line is, it's a completely different product than what the polymega is. To the point where I don't think myself or polymega really should not be afraid of seeing that as a competitor. I'm saying that pretty confidently too. Not saying that it's garbage because of that, but what I'm saying is it's an entirely different kind of product.
Different experience.
Correct.
Yeah, I get it. All right. Well, really quick here, before we get into our actual subject, I just want to go ahead and say hello to everybody, because this is the first time we're doing it live. We've got a bunch of people in here. We've got Face Chain. We've got Jeff Allison, Mackenzie Peters, Marilyn Monrovers, Jeff Allison. I think I said that already. Face.
Jeff says to move your mic a little bit closer. That's
okay.
what he said.
I wonder if I can actually make that audio louder, because it might not be loud enough. That might help. Hopefully. Oh, I think that has to be adjusted in Streamlabs, though, doesn't it? Doesn't the audio have to be adjusted in Streamlabs to be louder? Probably. Can you guys hear me better now? Should I put this like... This cable's too short, though. It won't reach.
Honestly, I mean, well, they're probably hearing differently, though, but...
Yeah.
Maybe we should have used the
Zoom. Yeah, I don't think we can switch it now. It's okay. Is it too low
Have
for
any...
you guys? FaceChain says audio is wonderful.
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah, okay. Someone just asked if any of the beta testers try the light gun, which I think that is a no.
Yeah, there's no... what did you say?
The only person that's having trouble with it is Mr.
Listening. Rover says that the audio is a little low, too. But, yeah, there is no light gun yet for the polymega. The technology doesn't exist yet.
I saw a couple YouTubers talk about the Sinden light gun. They got, I don't know if they're beta testers or anything, but they recently, I watched a couple videos of them playing like Point Blank and Time Crisis and stuff like that. Works really well. So very excited for that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that, for the light gun. It's going to be cool. I'd like to get into some House of the Dead and Virtual Cop 2. Those would be rad.
So what's your favorite light gun game then?
Of all time?
No particular order.
It's actually one of the ones that I had a lot of fun with, and you might laugh, but it was Mad Dog McCree. I was a big fan of Mad Dog McCree.
You're gonna have to remind me what that is.
It's like a Western gun game with like
is it where
video.
Yeah. Was that a console game or was that an arcade game?
It was on
okay,
3DO.
wow.
So I'll never be able to play it on the polymega unless they add 3DO support, which would be awesome if they did add 3DO support. That would be rad.
Never say never.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to them adding new systems, but I mean, I guess it all depends on how the polymega does itself, right? Like the polymega would have to do well in order for them to want to add all that other stuff. GT Beakerman asks, has any of the beta testers tried the TG16 PCE module? I did briefly, but it had to go back to polymega. I couldn't keep it, unfortunately, because it was their only TG16 module. So on the old polymega, I had like all the system cards installed, like the Game Express card, which was for like the hentai like porn games that were on the PC engine.
I didn't even know that existed.
Actually, yeah, there's a number of Game Express, which was the company that made these unlicensed games. So they had their own BIOS chip that you had to use in order for you to be able to play them. You had to use this special BIOS chip, and you can install that BIOS chip on the Polymega, but the games themselves don't play for whatever reason. So I actually meant to. I only tested that yesterday. It never occurred to me to try the CD games and see. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna play some anime titties today, but it didn't.
Yeah,
it didn't.
Try
work,
streaming
so,
that.
Right? Yeah.
I'm sure you get away with that.
Down quick, real quick. But yeah, for whatever reason, they don't work. So I'm gonna ask them about it and see if that's supposed to be the case. I'm guessing because they're not official games, they don't have them added to their library yet.
I'm sure they could also not want to be affiliated to like porn games.
That's true. So, yeah, they might not want to. Yeah, that makes sense. That might be an issue.
Yeah,
but
a little bit.
Yeah, it didn't work. I still wanted it to work, and it didn't. I was just curious to see what it would do.
Sure.
There was another Polymega update yesterday. I forgot to check to see what it fixes, but
I watched Victor Lucas today talk about that. He was doing a live stream. Victor Lucas is the guy that's from Electric Playground.
Yeah.
But he briefly talked about the different things it added. I'm trying to remember all what it was. And of course I can't remember any of it. But it was an update for you to play like English translated like carts, for instance. Like if you bought like
that's right. Yeah, there was a bunch of like IPS files that were now recognized that weren't before.
But I was talking about also like the reproduction carts that you can buy,
really?
of like, let's say it's Front Mission and it's already translated. Previously that wouldn't work, but now it does now. So something like that. It doesn't have to be carts, but also CDs as well, I believe. Actually, that are pre-installed.
It says here, let's see. It just says that there's a new update. It doesn't really say what it adds to it, other than some new functionalities. Oh, there we go. So it looks like added support for disk switching with patched games. So
yes,
I'm guessing like what I'm trying to think what games were translated that needed disk switching.
Maybe Sakura Wars, but I don't know. You've played that.
Maybe. I didn't play it long enough to get to a point where it wants another disc. I just put in disc 2 and it asked me for disc 1 is what I did.
Okay.
With it. So I'm not sure if that's what they mean. Looks like they made several fixes to cartridge game patches. So I'm guessing like added popular pre-patched discs and cartridges to the game database. That's interesting. I need to see which ones. I guess I just try because it's not like they're listed. Added several missing Japanese PS1 games to the database.
Yeah, that was a big concern. Well, I shouldn't say big, but I remember hearing about a lot of missing Japanese PS1 games. I think Street Fighter EX was one of them, and that's like one of my favorite Street Fighter games.
Oh, was it?
But yeah, and they I think I would assume that's among the ones that they added. So
interesting,
which is good.
And let's see what
not the second one though, which was interesting because
I mean the second one was okay. The third one was the one that was kind of 2 was alright, but 1 was the best for sure. Like
I think 2 was more refined, but the music in the first one kicks so much ass that I don't even care.
The music is so good in the first one.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ring Fit Master asks Cat Pat and Saramaru, is the Polymega in competition with the Intellivision Amigo? No, they are two completely different machines. They are completely different, for sure.
I get. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
One thing that I find interesting about me doing this over time is that people will ask me like general questions as if I'm a beta tester, which is flattering, but I am not. I just do a lot of research on the Polymega. I'm a big defender of it. as you've known, because any returning subscribers, that is, and watchers, viewers. But yeah, it gets. I act as if it gets a lot of trash. It doesn't. It's just that subsect of the retro community. I just feel like I have to consistently defend. But
yeah, there's like
anyway,
a small concentrated like
yeah,
circle.
In fact, I will say today I was very happy about this. I made a slight comment during Victor Lucas's live stream, and he actually and I didn't do a donation or anything, and he mentioned my name and said, "Oh, CatPat, I think I've seen you around on YouTube with the polymega stuff." So the reason that's significant for me to even recognize that I've done YouTube stuff is not just because I have smaller numbers right now, as if that matters. I appreciate my fans and stuff like that, but you get my point. Victor Lucas was on a show called Electric Playground, and I've watched him since I was like a preteen. So for on cable television, and now he has his own YouTube channel. So for someone like that to notice me is kind of, it's a little surreal. I find that really. It's not saying it's significant or anything. I don't even know if you fully watched my video. That's fine.
To you.
Correct.
Anyone who's a fan of him and his show too would probably think it was.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that was just really that brightened my day up a little bit.
I love homie says Senpai noticed you. Noticed
yes,
me, Senpai.
Yes. Yep.
That's awesome though. That's cool, right?
Someone brought up Tommy Tallarico. He's trying to have his own ecosystem. Tommy Tallarico is a guy who partnered with Victor Lucas in the Electric Playground. Who was that? Ring Fit Master says, or no, it was Mr. Mega Man fan.
Yeah.
The Amico is not a competitor. Tommy Tallarico is trying to have his own ecosystem. Yeah, I don't know enough about that stuff to even comment, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, the Amico is a completely different type of machine.
I think he was responding to someone else too, most likely.
Yeah, it plays its own type of games. It's got its own type of controller, which it looks cool. It looks interesting. I'm not sure that I'm particularly interested in getting one right now. There isn't really anything that is on it that makes me want to go out and buy one, but the concept is interesting. I'm not the type of person who's going to talk crap about a system without knowing enough about it, and I don't know enough about it to go into it. But
fair enough.
I do know enough to know that I'm not really interested right now. That might change down the line. I don't know, but it looks interesting.
Yeah, you can always give your impressions, but also underline hey, this isn't a final verdict either. I have no idea. I could be completely swayed once I get one in my hands or something like that.
That's true. Once I play it, I can be like, "Wow, this thing is totally cool." But for now, I think I'll wait and see what happens with it. I'm not really excited for any new consoles, really.
Yeah, why don't we talk about that? I was just thinking about this. It's funny. Maybe and I know you're a little bit older than me, but I I don't know. Maybe I'm not too far behind you because I feel like I don't care about the newest systems coming out. I don't know. I think what would, for instance, the PlayStation 5. I think there's one move they could have done that would have sold me, and it wouldn't even mattered what their launch title was. It could have been nothing, and I would have bought it.
Backward compatibility?
Correct. From the very beginning.
Yep.
Instant system seller for me. There, I had no competition. I'd totally do that. Are you kidding me? That's amazing.
Yeah.
But that's not the case, and I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's some dichotomy to that. Someone once told me, said, well, they don't want to compete with their own games, and it's like, I don't. Maybe, but that still seems kind of lazy because that would be kind of. Yeah,
it'd be kind of just for that purpose as well. Because now I have no interest in it whatsoever. So.
Well, what's funny is that when they make these systems, their money makers are the apps, not the console itself. So it's like, okay, if you bought the system and just kept it for your classic games, they're essentially going to make no money based off that. However, let's just say you just like modern and older games, which I do. I like newer games. It's just I also like retro games. So if in that whole like competing against itself with its classic titles, that would be kind of funny because that would suggest that, like, let's say Final Fantasy 16 that's just announced or whatever turns out that it's garbage, and then meanwhile everyone's playing Final Fantasy 7. I mean, this is La La Land hypothetical, but it would be kind of funny to see that, like, oh, it's a better game than that we have right now, so we don't want to compete against it. So that's like, that's strange. I don't know. I'm kind of under that, like, just get better over time with your development. Like, even if it's a competition with someone else, it's just like, okay, so someone made this killer app. What are you going to do to fight against that? And I was thinking about this too myself. You've heard about Xbox buying out Bethesda, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that for ass load of money for that matter.
No.
I don't know what that means, but let's say that means that Xbox isn't going to share those IPs with Sony,
which is not likely.
No, someone suggested, well, maybe they will, but they get a cut of the profits, and it's like, I don't think Sony will agree to that regardless. But
well, maybe.
That said,
there was Cuphead, and Cuphead's now on the Switch too.
Right.
And that was a Microsoft Studios produced
Do you think they're taking a cut of the profits for that?
Probably.
I have no idea.
Because
it could be.
They bought pretty much the suit that was making the game, so that they could release it as a Microsoft Studios game. So I'm assuming they're getting something out of that.
Right. It'd be really interesting to see. If Sony doesn't buy their stuff from, like, let's say buy in Bethesda IP from Microsoft, to see if they would respond by making their own Skyrim, their own Elder Scrolls, their own Fallout. That'd be very bizarre, but I don't know. Sometimes I think I like that kind of competition because you get to see
that's where innovation
happens.
Yeah,
you get to see strange reactions. Sometimes things don't work at all. I think there was a response to Resident Evil. I can't even remember it was a Galarians or started. I don't know. It was a response to Silent Hill or Resident Evil, and it was a big flop. So things like that. It not that I want things to fail or anything, but that innovation, experimentation. It might be a strange time when it comes to consoles.
Yeah. See, I think, actually thinking back at it, I think that it would be in their best interest to share those IPs. I think mainly not just because of the money standpoint, right? But because Microsoft is the one that's pushing for everything to become digital. So if all of their stuff is appearing digital on everything already, like they're already like creating that whole like digital ecosystem, to eventually when everything becomes digital,
Game Pass and all that.
Yeah, there's not going to be any need. Everything's going to eventually. I think everything's going to eventually end up being cloud gaming at some point or another.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing too. At that point, how do you differentiate? And people are already making these comparisons now. Differentiate, the newest consoles, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, to a PC at this point. It's becoming more and more of this all-in-one entertainment system, which is exactly a PC in that regard. Just less customizable options, less. I don't know. It's more simplified. Obviously, it's just. Yeah, I don't know. So it's gonna be strange for us, growing up with physical media. Granted, at different times, but as we get older, it very well, most likely, will be cloud gaming. It's just, I think it's kind of interesting what limited run games are doing. They're essentially responding to the people that want physical media.
Yep.
So I'm wondering if things are going to become completely mainstream, like cloud gaming, and then there's going to be that subsect of old farts like us that are going to demand physical games, and then we're going to, instead of paying like $20 for like God of War, someone will like rebrand it, or I don't know, $20 for like the newest game. It's odds are it's like, oh, we'll make it physical, so it'll be like 40 or double the price it is digitally or something like that.
Well, the thing with that is that digital games are now just as much as their physical counterparts.
Yeah.
So
You know, if you want to push that, you should make it cheaper. I was thinking about that myself.
They don't have. See, that's the thing, though. If it becomes a completely digital market, what incentive do they need to make it cheaper? And I think that's essentially what they're going to push for is, you know,
Maybe
more money in everyone's pockets because they don't have to produce anything at that point. And
also, it just limits sharing the games as well.
Yep. So
it's only on your
more
account.
People have to buy it as well. So
Death of couch co-op. It's that's been a thing for a while. So yeah, and people wonder why we want to keep our retro games. That's
right?
Yeah.
So thank goodness for things like the Polymega. But going back to the PlayStation 5, what a mess was that whole like pre-order thing with PS5 and especially the Xbox. Right?
Yeah, Xbox shared the same fate. It certainly did.
Not worse, actually, because I mean, they sold systems, they just weren't selling the right ones. We actually talked about this on my stream last night, which was funny. You know, we were saying that, you know, grandma's going to go out there and buy what she thinks is the newest Xbox, and she's going to come back home with an Xbox One, and, you know, little Timmy's going to slap the shit out of her for bringing the wrong console back home.
You know, to me, it's almost like the guy that's like ahead of the naming the Xbox is like almost like sarcastically pushing these names out.
Right.
It's just like, oh, you thought the Xbox One X was stupid? Well, I've got a dumber idea. And so he just like throws out, how about Xbox Series X? You know, it's just to fuck with everyone.
Yeah. All the naming conventions for Xbox were just always so dumb, right? Like they were just really,
you know,
dumb.
Someone said, I think it was Victor actually, but I could be, and this is all speculation, but what's this rumor going on with Sega and Microsoft? Have you seen this?
Oh, that they're like thinking of buying them out or something like that?
That would be very interesting if that happened.
Yeah.
I don't know what would happen out of that, but again, a lot of people are saying that's not true as well.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm hoping that's not the case. That would suck.
Goodbye all the Yakuza games. That was
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yep. Get an Xbox. That would suck. I don't think so. That's kind of been like the talks for a while though, because there was also back in the day, people remember when the Dreamcast was going out, they're like, oh, Nintendo's gonna buy Sega and like all this other stuff. I think it's just wild speculation. What I think.
I think the game gets like a couple Dreamcast games get ported, and then they just assume that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like I've heard people call the Xbox the Dreamcast 2 essentially. Yeah. Which you know that's. Go ahead.
Yes. No, I was just gonna say. I was just gonna agree with you that.
Right.
People were calling it that, but I don't know. Do you feel like it was the spiritual successor? And because their ports kind of went everywhere, right?
It did. I was gonna say that too. But I think
GameCube
Xbox
got a bunch of them too. It's not like the
Xbox had a lot of SNK games. Weirdly enough.
Yeah.
They had a few Metal Slugs and a few King of Fighters as well.
I think what
they had
SVC
say that,
Chaos. Yeah, they had SVC Chaos. Pretty much all the SNK stuff that came out on PS2 came out on Xbox as well. But I think what made people say that about the Xbox was the fact that it got exclusive stuff, right? Like Jet Set Radio feature was exclusive to it, and I believe was Sega Rally, I think, also exclusive.
Yeah. Yep. Sorry, I'm like wiping my eye. I've got something. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, Sega.
It's an emotional time.
Yeah. Xbox getting old. Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, I'm not excited at all for the new generation of consoles.
You know, they just need a killer app. That's really it. You know, Demon Souls, they're remaking that. That's pretty cool. That's up my alley, but that's like a subsect of the gaming community because not everyone likes hard as shit games. So, but again, that's not enough to compel me to go get one. I think what would really surprise me if like Sony like remade or made a sequel to Legend of Dragoon, that would like everyone would shit their pants if that happened.
Right.
Like Legend of Dragoon's like one of the most highly requested remakes of all time.
But
I'm
just looking
anyway.
at chat. seeing if anybody has any questions. Some people are saying,
what did I
about
do to
Microsoft
my eye?
buying Sega. Face Chain says the PS5 looks like a plastic enchilada.
Yeah.
See, that's another thing too. Is I hate the design of it. The design of it is just
Of the 5, the 5's a little. It feels like it's trying too hard to be futuristic. I like the shape of the Xbox Series X. It's just a box.
It's just a box.
Like, okay,
yeah. I like it simple.
Yeah.
I mean, the PS4
Very,
looked great. Why didn't they go with something simple like that? Like the PS4 looked
just
really good.
It's a black eraser.
Yep.
Fine with that.
And I'm okay with that. It's easy to stack. And
yeah, they don't fall down as easily as like the slim PS2 put sideways or anything.
Yeah, but even the slim PS2, I'm fine with that design. You know, it's for the most part fairly square. It was when the first PS3s came out where you were like, what the shit were they thinking with this design?
Yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking with that design. And then they did the second one. The second one was nice. The fat one. And then they did the third one, and that third one was ass all over again with the design.
Yeah, I didn't like that top loader very much.
Yep. It's kind of dumb. Design choices. But it is, I guess.
You said you're looking through some comments right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can cry.
Maybe I can. Yeah, I'm going to just keep crying.
Do you want to go wash your eyes out?
Yeah, I think I'm good now.
Maybe you can switch.
Because then I can, if you want to.
Oh, I'm good. Okay. So I was going to ask, do you have a Switch, Saru?
I do.
Okay. Do you like it?
I do. I like it. It's fun. I haven't played it in a while, but it's fun.
How do you, out of all the newest, well, not newest, but out of the current generation, what's your favorite console then?
The Switch, probably. Which was funny.
Okay, I could see that.
I mean, I got the PS4 first, and I had it for way longer than the Switch. But my library for the Switch is way bigger. And the reason why is because a lot of retro collections are coming out on the Switch, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
So it tickles my fancy when it comes to that. You know, convenient retro collections I can replay. But also, like, cool, like, new games that are out on both consoles. I usually just get it on the Switch out of convenience. Sometimes, if it's significantly better on the PS4, then I'll get the PS4 version.
Sure.
Or I'll double dip sometimes. Just depends. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the Switch. Is that a Switch back there? What is that?
Where? This? No, this is... this is something I want to talk about at some point. I was thinking about making a video about it. It's called the Retroid Pocket.
Or something from afar.
No, it's called the Retroid Pocket 2, and it has the GameCube indigo color, or the Game Boy Advance indigo color. But everyone was literally praising it in the handheld retro community or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's as great as everyone says it was, and I was a little disappointed setting it up. Yeah, it's like running Android 6, and it's clunky. I'm sure when you get the games running, it looks good. The screen is fantastic, and when you do, it's funny. It's like this is a reoccurring thing. It's once you configure everything, it's just like that was kind of tedious, and I have to scroll through these clunky menus. I mean, they're gonna upgrade to Android 8.1 in October, but whatever. I mean, I'll say that for another day. I think these retro handheld things are a cool idea. I just don't. They're all coming from China, and they all have some. Some are better than others, but it still has that China manufacturing feel, if you know.
And they have names like Cool Baby and Pow Kitty.
Yeah.
Could you imagine going to school? I just got the new Cool Baby, you guys. Let's play.
Dude, check it out. I got the Goo Goo Gaga 0.2 whatever.
The Pow Kitty.
Neat, dude. Yeah.
Pow Kitty. Like, where do they get these like crazy ass names? Is what I want to know.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I have no idea.
It's
bizarre. Not like they're hiring market specialists, just like a bunch of stupid nerds want to play classic games because they can't get over it.
Yeah.
Just throw this shit out there and we'll make some money.
And that's pretty much it. And people buy it. I don't have any of those, so I don't I don't
That's
know what
fine.
they're like, or
I was waiting patiently because I saw, oh, this one could play Neo Geo and this plays Pokemon, and I was thinking, that's cool, but there's two factors that I think it really needs. It's one, can you play multiplayer? Because I've seen people play these Neo Geo games, and it's like it makes no like the biggest core experience in Neo Geo is fighting games and playing cooperatively in Metal Slug.
yeah.
So if you can get Wi-Fi, through ad hoc or local play, yeah, sign me up. The second one being, it has to last more than 4 hours. I think anything under 4 hours is completely unacceptable for a handheld.
Nowadays.
Well, even when the Switch came out, I was just like, I'm going to wait, and hopefully they'll make a better battery one, which they did. So I'm glad for that. But yeah, I get this, and I knew it was running an Android front end, but I did not realize how clunky it was. But this one does ad hoc multiplayer, so you can trade Pokemon with other people through that, so that's great.
That's kind of
But
cool.
I think, the third thing is that I think now that I've had my hand on it, those two things plus having a different front end, probably Battlesera Linux or some. I mean, it's not going to have it on that because it's an Android device and it's not running Linux anyway. Technobabble, blah blah blah. Point is I don't like the front end. Needs a better front end in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know you can choose RetroArch, but that's a pain to configure. I did it anyway, but that's a pain to configure. Blah blah blah. Anyway,
so do you have a Switch? Did you buy one?
I did. I bought my girlfriend the battery for her birthday. The battery one, yes. And then I got myself the Switch Lite. Now, if I was going in not blind, but if I was going in just for myself, I would have gotten the bigger battery one. I would have never touched the Switch Lite. But because I shared that battery one with my girlfriend, I'm totally fine with having the Switch Lite, because if I ever wanted to do a review on a game, I just put my info on the home Switch and then I can stream it. So if I so choose, so I've never done it before, but I think about those things down the line for what I'm doing, because I did a review for Katana Zero, which I natively played on the Switch, but I replayed it on Steam to get the game capture. So because it's a cheap indie game anyway, so and I love that game, so the publisher can have all the money they want from me. I don't care. So anyway, yeah, I think the Switch is kind of cool. I haven't really been touching it that often either. So what I have been touching is currently the Mister, which makes sense, and occasionally my 3DS. Funny enough,
touching the Mister.
I'm learning. What's that?
Touching the Mister.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you have it handy?
There you go. Yeah, I've got it right here. That's what's running this right now.
Oh, okay. Well, you might not want to pull it out, but that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I can unplug it and then there we go. I can unplug the cord at least. But yeah, that's what the Mister looks like.
Cool.
It's I chose a wood paneling that I bought separately from the vendor. Yeah, it's really neat. Do you want to just jump into that whole the conversation? Yeah, so okay. So, obviously this is called the PolyCast. So I wouldn't bring up the Mister just to be like, oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And
but
if
I mean,
you
like,
touch it once,
we can talk about,
you'll be converted.
It's just another option, right? Like, a lot of people always throw out Mister when you talk about the polymega. They're like, well, I got a Mister. So this is another option for people. The Mister is something you got to configure. Now, you actually made a video of yourself putting the Mister together. Or you did a live stream, right? It was live.
I did.
Yeah,
it was really last minute. I did my best.
Yeah, I saw that you did a live stream putting it together. Now, I didn't watch the whole thing. How was the experience putting it together?
Physically, putting it together is not hard. To someone that's messed with tech, I suppose. I mean, even if you didn't, I mean, it wasn't that bad. This was like adult Legos putting together, so that was fun.
Okay.
But it's when I was configuring stuff I was having issues. Again, and I didn't look at any. This is my fault. Any stuff beforehand. I mean, I briefly did, but not enough like stuff to get the image running in the operating system going on the device. But
Right.
And then a couple times I've had some hardware issues. Like I was trying to put it on this monitor behind me, but it had a DVI to HDMI converter, and the Mister didn't like that. You just got to natively put it in an HDMI. So I had a Gorilla style video camera myself to my TV that's in front of me that you guys can't see, just to show them that I was testing out these games. But I put a Neo Geo game on there, a Neo Geo ROM. It didn't work right off the bat.
Yeah.
I find out that it needs a different file format. So it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to just download this on stream. Let me just put a Super Nintendo game on there. So one thing I will say, which is what everyone says, and they're correct. And it's not that I never believe them. That response time is very, very accurate. When I was playing Contra 3 and I shot, as soon as I hit that X button, it fired.
Yeah.
I was like kind of shocked. I was like, holy shit. It's like literally, it is damn near simultaneously, like virtually no input lag. So it's like, that's impressive.
Yeah. But, that's the thing with FPGA, right? If done right, it's supposed to be just like you're playing it on the real thing. So
correct. So another thing that everyone, is praising the system and stuff, and I think if you were doing the same thing, Saru, of putting the Neo Geo games together, because this was off camera on my spare time, because I have it running now and it's mostly fine. But here's what I know: I noticed it, but you would definitely notice it too. We play Neo Geo games consistently. So when I was playing the game, input's fine. The sound effects are fine. All of a sudden, I would hear this warble effect in the sound. With any like music playing in the background that was high pitched, it would warble, and I'm like, that sounds weird. That's weird. Not right. Like it's like it gets out of tune. And a couple people that put this together don't notice it. It's like, oh, I noticed. I play Neo Geo all the fucking time. It's on my shirt. My dude, I've got SNK covered. I built my arcade stand. You've played your Neo Geo CD games, things like that. You would have noticed it too.
So do you think that is a problem with the core or something? Or?
It is. I thought that was something that, maybe I didn't do something right. So I was looking up things. Maybe it needed a different ROM set. And I go on GitHub's page, and sure enough, there's 29 comments about the sound.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's something they're working on. And as I said, with GitHub and not GitHub, but with the Mister, it's always being worked on. But there's cores that are essentially perfect as well. So Super Nintendo kicks ass, Sega Genesis kicks ass. It all kicks ass. It's just it's a work in process. Right now they're working on PlayStation compatibility next. But here's the thing, for anyone that thinks that the Mister is a competitor to Polymega, it's like, yeah, it might be in like 4 years. The only reason I say that is because,
it's not perfect.
Well, the CD support. It supports TurboGrafx CD as it's playing right now, and it supports Sega CD. But I'm talking like the big boys, like PlayStation, Sega Saturn. I know they'll get PlayStation, but I do not want to be the guy developing the Sega Saturn core. Oh my god! You know why though, right? It's because the Sega Saturn has 2 damn processors in the system. No developer at the time was like, when the PlayStation came out, they're like, wow, this is much easier to develop for. Never mind, see ya, Sega. Like that, no one wanted to develop for Sega Saturn, at least American.
And Sega Saturn emulation has always been shoddy at best up until just recently.
Yes.
People are able to emulate it better, but Sega Saturn has always been issue with emulation. It was just never really possible up until recently. So I'm not surprised that there isn't a core for it that is working, but there are some Raspberry Pis that are running Saturn emulators now that are running better on them.
Yes. I would say though, when I had it running on an Odroid XU4, this was 2 years ago though, it was running but still jitter. So for me, when I'm playing things like that, when I know it's emulation, it better be damn near perfect, or just I don't want to play it. Like I know that sounds like nitpicky, but it's just like I'll notice the stutters. I'll notice the skips.
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
When there's skips, I don't like it. If there's like skips in audio, I can't do it. I can't play it.
Just sucks me out. I can't get invested. I 100% agree with that. But so I wrote some notes to mention to make sure I got this covered with the Mister. So let's see what I got here. Input lag is adapt. Yes. Okay. So here's what's interesting. So input lag. That's everything that everyone talks about when it comes to, like, at least the techie crazies that criticize the polymega or software emulation in general. Biggest thing. So funny enough, when I was looking up FPGA input lag for the Mister, I think it was Mister's own Wikipedia page or Mister page in general, something related to the Mister. They even flat out said some games have input lag, not for the Mister, but like for software emulation. However, and I've actually said this to you before in our last podcast, input lag is adaptive. That's why when you play the polymega Saru, you can barely, you don't even really notice it, I should say. No. So what I mean by adaptive is, you know, let's say, you know, you got Contra 3, and you just play it on your Super Nintendo. Then you go play it on software emulation.
Yep.
Will you be thrown off?
A little bit, but your brain starts to adapt after a while. So.
Correct. So you'll definitely notice that. But if someone fresh going into the polymega, just with all this stuff, they're not going to notice a damn thing.
That's it. You know, and if it's negligible, then my brain will easily adapt for, you know, whatever milliseconds or whatever. But
yeah,
if it's not anything like under whatever the acceptable amount is, like it's noticeable when lag is present, like real lag, it's noticeable, right? Like,
and in fact, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because I can, I have some consoles hooked up via HDMI with like the Hyperkin cables, and I can feel the lag with those Hyperkin cables compared to if I just had it connected directly or through SCART or RetroTink. Sure. It's a big difference. Like, I would notice it, but it's not like that with the polymega. It's I don't really notice it.
Right. Yeah. So that's two things I wanted to mention too. So it's like, if we're on the topic of adaptive input lag, what are two things that can fuck up your game experiences with input lag? One being, the input lag is so bad that, like, you know, you press X and then 5 seconds later your character jumps. Yeah, that's unacceptable. You know, that's bad input lag, that not worth your time. So what's the second thing that would fuck you up input lag wise? If the input lag was inconsistent. Let's say it was 2 frames of input lag, and then all of a sudden it's 5 frames.
Yeah,
your brain can't adapt to that. So there's no way you can adapt to that. At that point, that's a garbage experience too. So there's that happy medium where it's like, this is totally acceptable. Another thing too is, I had someone say, maybe I'll get into that later, but one thing I want to point out is that, and this is something Bocop shared with me, and whatever I say here, you know, if I got some details wrong, sure, let me know. But
no, people will let you know.
Oh, they will. Bocop was telling me that, and I saw this through Polymega. This is also Polymega's words as well.
Yeah.
This was a tweet in 2019 when I was looking for some info. Wired with the wired controller, whether that's Polymega's controller or the 8-bit DOE controllers, whatever you're plugging into the Polymega, USB wired is 2 to 2.5 frames of lag, while the modules are 1 frame of lag, if not a little bit less.
Yep.
So a lot of people are saying, if they get their Genesis module and they're playing Sega Saturn games, that's the way they're going to do it.
Yep. That's 100%. If you're playing Genesis games and you have the Sega module, use the module and the controller for it. But even so, like, it's still the amount of lag is negligible, but it is just a tiny smidgen better. Right. If you use the module. And
this is what Bocop was telling me, is that, you know, having 1 to 2.5 frames of lag is pretty impressive for software emulation, considering most software emulators are 3 to 5.
Right.
So, you know, I thought that would be very important to bring up, because a lot of people act like, you know, input lag is going to be the end of you, and it's like, it really depends how much.
Yeah, it really depends on how much. And,
also, input lag rarely means anything when you're playing RPGs as well. If you're playing your action platformers and it's inconsistent input latency, yeah, that'll fuck you up. RPGs, not so much.
But I play rhythm games, and I can play them fine. So, and you need really close timing with rhythm games for that. So if the input lag is all ass, you're really gonna notice it. So
exactly.
And
go ahead.
And I was just saying that I don't really notice that lag with rhythm games. I have no issue playing rhythm games on the polymega
because it's adaptive. Yes, you know, someone's going to probably view that as an excuse, but it's like, no, that's just how your brain works. Sorry. It's weird that I'm talking about basic biology when I have to defend the polymega. It's kind of fucking weird, but you know, whatever.
Speaking of the controller,
sure.
Really quick here, someone a little bit ago was asking how Naveed was asking how the Retrobit controllers were on the polymega. They work really well. The Sega Saturn wired Retrobit controller, though, malfunctioned on me, and I don't know what's wrong with it. I think I have to... That same one. I have that same exact one.
And that color, dude. The color is beautiful.
I love it. I have both the wired and the wireless are that color, and I actually got them from Mad Little Pixel. He sent them to me.
That's nice of him.
Right before the live. And the wireless one works great. The wired one, for whatever reason, just stopped working. The D-pad on it stopped working, but it's not like damaged or anything, because like you can see it. I'm gonna open it and take a look under the contacts and make sure that those are good.
I heard these are great controllers, but like I think MVG said that sometimes the D-pad gets all screwed up, so he wasn't really happy with that. He said like after some time with use, it started making this noise. I don't know if yours is doing that.
No,
but,
I mean, and they're not really like used. They're not really broken in either, because you know he probably got like review controllers. He used them for his review and played a little bit, but they're not like super worn in. So I'm guessing it's just a malfunction of the controller. Another YouTuber friend of mine, Brian Trusty, he also has a USB one that stopped working on him, also Retrobit one. And he doesn't know what the deal is with that either. I never reached out to Retrobit about it or anything, because I'm okay with just using the wireless one.
Sure.
And it works
fine. So far I've been fine, but you know, I heard about the issues after I purchased it, of course. So but so far it's been pretty responsive to the Mister, but
just the luck of the draw, I guess, with those. You know, I mean, they're still manufactured in mass, so
yes.
Who knows? Speaking of Bocop, he's here. He says the first run of those had D-pad issues. They fixed them. Well, there's our answer.
There you go.
All right. Well,
Bocop
it just sounds like I need another USB one.
Insane.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I had no idea.
You know, now that he's here, I'm gonna publicly shame him. But I've had really good conversations with Bocop on like learning things, and I'm just like, you're a beta tester. Why don't we like? Because you were talking at the beginning of the podcast, we should get people to be part of it. I wanted Bocop to be about it. I even said, like, hey, you know, what did you think about this? And you know, I'm going to tease him a bit. He doesn't want to do public stuff, and that's fine. To each his own. Okay. You know, I said it could even be his voice or anything, and he's like, I'll have to think about it. So everyone peer pressure Bocop. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But no, the guy has a truckload of information, and I learned quite a bit from him. So shout out to Mr. Bocop.
I actually met him online on a PC Engine Discord before the polymega stuff.
Awesome.
Briefly. And we didn't really talk too much, but that's where I first saw him, was randomly on some PC Engine Discord that I don't even know if it's around anymore. active, but that's where I first saw him, and then he got chosen as one of the polymega beta testers. So small world.
Awesome. Yeah, Brian's just picking all the TurboGrafx fans.
Right?
He's the TurboGrafx. There might be a little bit of bias there, Brian.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, a lot of maybe.
No, I was joking, but yeah,
it's possible. He is a big TurboGrafx guy, so
yes, he is.
That's actually how I knew him online too. Was TurboGrafx?
Yeah, you were telling me that
stuff.
So another thing I wanted to mention is that I made my. Does the polymega, is it actually that expensive? It was a 5-minute video. Basically, in my first polymega video, I have in the 22-minute mark, I was discussing, is it really that expensive? And then I break down all the prices and like all the consoles you would need, SCART cables, all that kind of stuff, and which is something we covered as well. And I remember seeing the polymega Twitter page months ago when someone said, "Oh, it's really expensive." They put my video on there and said go to the 22 mark, so that inspired me to be like, why don't I just make a 5-minute video so you can just,
I saw that. Yeah, you made a really digestible version of it.
Correct. So just copy and paste, that's that. So for anyone that's tired of repeating themselves 500 times, they can just copy and paste that.
Yep.
But I had one and you'll always come with someone that has some like other underhanded question, and I'm not gonna. It's not like this is a bad person or anything, but like they thought that it wasn't fair that I'm comparing that to actual hardware systems because the polymega would be competing against a PC with like a front end like Battlesera or Recall Box and all that kind of stuff, which I have made before, and and it's like I don't know about that, and the reason I say that is because these PCs don't have cartridge slots. I know that RetroArch is working on a disc player and stuff, but obviously, the polymega looks like a console. It plays with a console, like a console. And there's another point I actually put into that too, is that, the reason I would compare it to the hardware stuff is, other than the latency, you don't have to configure anything. It's a console.
I liked your steak analogy with the polymega in that video. It was funny.
Thank you. Should I? I'll just rephrase that for anyone who didn't see that. Yep. But for the people that say, "Oh, just build an emulator," and of course it's just like, well, not everyone wants to do that.
RetroPie, build a mister, build a vacuum.
And yeah, right. And Victor Lucas even said like, "Hey, look, this is for people that don't want to do that and already have a collection and blah blah blah." So it's like, yeah, it's like I'm on board. I get it. So I said that's almost tantamount to, it's just like, okay, so you shouldn't get the polymega. You should just make your own and stuff like that. It's like, okay, so imagine yourself, that same person, I should say, at a restaurant, and you're eating beef Wellington, and some stranger comes up to you and asks, "Hey, did you make that?" And they say no. So you just like push that shit off of their table and just like, "No, you didn't make that, so you don't get to enjoy it." And it's like that's such a strange way, because it's like, if you want to enjoy 1080p resolutions, a clean UI, all that kind of stuff, but that's only specifically gatekeeped for the people that like mess with that's like emulators.
That gatekeeping mentality.
So it's just like, no, that's not okay. Just like, why not offer a product? It's like, yeah, sure. That actually inspired me. I thought about this today. I would have no problem making a video being like, hey, you think the polymega is too expensive and you like tinkering with stuff? Here's how you set Battlesera Linux. Like, that's how I'm not afraid of like that being a competitor.
Right.
Because it's like, guess what? Not everyone wants to do that. So, oh, you want it done for you? Here you go. Here's the polymega. It's like, oh, you have to pay that much more. It's like any service. When you go to a car shop, you're not just paying for the parts, you're paying for the person's experience as well. So it, like, yeah, on face value, like if you wanted to like, oh, it costs like $200 to make the polymega or something, and it's like, yeah, but how much work put into that labor of creating it, crafting it, designing it, things like that.
Yep. Mr. Mega Man in the chat says Polymega is competing with anything that does what it does, but can they keep it as seamlessly with as much flexibility at the price point? Which is true, right?
What say rephrase?
He said,
can you say that again?
Yeah, Polymega is competing with anything that does what it does, right? Playing, like the retro stuff. But can they do it as seamlessly with as much flexibility at the same price point as the Polymega? Do you know what I mean? Because the Polymega plays like all of the different consoles. You're paying $400 for essentially something that's going to play a bunch of the different consoles. So
correct.
Can these other things do it at that same price point?
I'm not saying, and I'm not saying that isn't
right. So
a subsect of competitors, but the one thing I could agree on is that the Polymega, I think, is itching the scratch for a very select group of gamers.
Yeah.
Because again, yes, does it compete with other retro, other things that can do retro games? Yes. However, does it compete for as I said, compete to people that don't want to put these things together?
Right.
If you like retro games, you can put things together. This probably isn't going to be the system for you.
Good night, Elvis Roa. Thanks for stopping in. Sorry. So
no, I get what he's saying. I'm not saying that's not a complete thing to think about. So that's why, again, I would even make a video like, hey, can't afford the Polymega. Here's how you set up Battlestar Linux recall box, whatever, on a old PC you've got laying around or something like that. I've considered doing that. I don't know. It's just, and you can make it look nice. I make mine look really nice too. But then again, like I was telling this other person, is that, and I haven't tested this, but if most software emulation is, 3 to 5 frames of lag, and the Polymega can do it slightly better, that's also something to consider as well.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of variables. There's
exactly
tons of variables.
That's why I say it seems like the Polymega is definitely catering to a subsect,
right,
as opposed to a mass majority.
And I find that people like to compare things on like single planes when it comes to stuff. Some people, that single plane is usually price, right? Usually price is like the most important thing, but to someone like me, time is the most important thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
And time is money, essentially. So, in my case, I'm going to want whatever is quickest and most convenient that takes the least amount of time.
And I don't have children, so I, just thinking about that. I'm sure there's still people that have children that put these rigs together, but then I think like, okay, so like there's even variables with that. It's like, for me, not having a child, I could probably set this thing up with all the ROMs and stuff within like, let's say 4 hours.
Yeah.
But then the guy with kids has to do it like 1 hour each day because that's the only time he gets to himself. You know what I mean? So there's all these different variables and things like that.
Yeah. And then fucking little Timmy trips over your mister and launches it to the wall, and your mister's fucked. So a number of different things can happen.
I'm not going to use it as credibility, of course, but it's just, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. People think on a single plane of things, and it's just, I will say, it is awfully inconvenient for it to get that deep in terms of the Polymega. It's, but that's the consequence of entering a market that has tons of options that are similar to it. So
yeah,
but at that point you have to get to the nitty gritty as well. That's another thing I want to mention about the Mister as well. Most cores don't support save states. I'll tell you right now, if FPGA, if the Mister had like support for Saturn and all the disk-based media that it did for the Polymega and offered save states, then yeah, I'd say Polymega would be in trouble. But that's not the case. So
does it offer like the in-game saves though?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just save states. It does work for Game Boy Advance, and most of the people that work on cores, it's not like one guy that does each. It's usually different people tackling different cores.
Mm.
Cores are what run it. So like, there's a Game Boy Advance core, there's a Super Nintendo core, things like that. It's again, neat little system, but I think what I have come to the conclusion of is that the Mister is a dork box. As if like it's like, okay, well, if you like retro games, you're a dork in general. It's like, okay, fair, but this is a dork machine. Like it's highly technical, so I could see why, like, and it's not so much that you're a dork if you want accurate input accuracy. It's just it's so community driven and you just mess with it. It's a dork box, and I say that, so that must make me a dork as well.
Nerd.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're not kidding. It's absolutely true. So,
aren't we all though?
Yeah, exactly.
So some people in the chat are talking about the database. Naveed is saying that the database itself must have been an unbelievable amount of work. And
for polymega.
Yep. Bocop agrees that the database and the polymega is really well done. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And
that's true.
Save states is a killer feature, says Mr. Mega Man fan. Welcome Zombie JLT to the chat and anyone who just popped in. But yeah, the database is a great feature to have, but not all the games are in the database yet. I right now I think that they're trying to get as much in there as possible. I think almost all retail games are there, except probably a very small amount of retail games. But now they're starting to add like non-official stuff too, right? Like patched games and third-party stuff that came out, by like I'm hoping they start to add the Columbus Circle stuff as well. I haven't tried any of that stuff, but hopefully they do.
I had this thought, and I wonder if you ever communicated to Polymega about this. But you know how they have those pre-installed games?
Yeah.
And that'd be so cool if they just like, hey Saru, we'll give you this amount of money if we can put like your game on the pre-installed on the system.
Oh, so it's not gonna be pre-installed. They're gonna offer it on the marketplace.
Excellent.
So it'll be a digital download. So we're working on a polymega version of FX Unit Yuki. Actually,
excellent.
So there'll be some differences that can take advantage of the fact that it's running on the polymega. So it'll essentially be the PC Engine version still, but with some changes. And the title screen will say like polymega version of our game. So that's cool.
Yeah, I'm very happy about that because I'm like, they have to work together at this point. And I don't mean just as a beta tester, because that makes me happy to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I'm happy about that too. So
of course you are. I would be.
Hopefully people buy it, but I mean, I am happy that they're gonna put it on the download store.
Yeah, and I would assume it'd be cheaper than your physical forms as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. $15 or whatever their pricing conventions are for CD games at the time, because it'd have to be comparable to whatever other CD type games are being sold. So if the average is $10, it'll go for $10. If it's $15, it'll go for $15. I imagine somewhere around that realm.
Yeah, absolutely. So that makes me happy. But there was something else I was going to add to all of this stuff too. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention, as you can see the TurboGrafx playing in the background.
Yeah.
So I started to reflect as I was playing and messing with the TurboGrafx games. I was starting to reflect on our conversation through our podcast about how you were blown away by the audio quality with the CD, TurboGrafx CD, and when you first were experiencing it when you were younger. And I don't remember what game I start. Was it Dragon Slayer or Dragon? I think it might have been Dragon Slayer.
Dragon Slayer. It was a turn-based RPG.
Yeah. I put that on just to see what it was, and it just starts. I think it was orchestral, but like it was like the soundtrack just starts going, and I'm like, whoa, like I'm like, it's like thinking like that time frame. because I realized why I was like, why was I so surprised to hear that?
So
And
imagine being a 12-year-old kid and hearing that for the first time when all you've ever heard was like bleeps and bloops of chiptunes.
That's exactly it. Because once that like started playing, I'm like, whoa, and then I'm like, why is my brain saying that? Why was that my reaction? It's like, oh, because I'm seeing these graphics on something like the Super Nintendo, but I'm not getting sound like that. So because it's a CD, you're getting CD quality, audio on there. So I was like, holy shit, this is weird. I mean, right? They have Super Nintendo hacks where you can attach.
Those like
rearrange. Yeah,
on the cards or whatever.
No, I would be surprised if they add that kind of support to the polymega 2 with all the damn IPS patches and stuff. That would be insane.
There is one thing that has not been mentioned yet that the polymega does, which I probably shouldn't mention, but there is going to be some similar type of thing. Not exactly that, but that would be cool if they did that as well. But there is some other thing that's kind of similar that I think that they're planning to implement, but I'm not sure how much of that. You're
teasing.
I'm not sure how much of that is actually public knowledge or not, because I haven't really seen it anywhere. But it's not beyond the realm of possibility with the polymega. So I'm kind of excited what is going to happen once they release the system, because right now, like, their main focus is just getting shit together so that they can release it on time, right?
Continue. Sorry.
That's like their main focus right now, is getting as many bugs squashed as they can, getting that compatibility up as much as they can before they release. Like, and you can see it, like, if you're a part of it, like Bocop can probably tell you, if you're a part of the Discord, you see these updates happening all the time. Like, they're running around big time trying to make these updates happen. So imagine once they get all that taken care of and situated, they start selling a shit ton of units, they can start focusing more on other types of software development, right? Like,
I remember Raycast actually reached out to them on Twitter. Raycast is the guy that does the Dreamcast emulation.
Yeah, see, that would be cool too. But the only limitation with Dreamcast is
GD-ROMs.
Yep, GD-ROMs, because there's no way to play GD-ROMs. So they'd all have to be mil CD. Mil CD would be the only thing that would work. And self boots.
There still could be the possibility is downloading it through a store, and they can just still support Raycast.
Yeah, that's true. You can probably download the ISO, but I mean, like, what's the likelihood of Sega being like, oh yeah, let's put Crazy Taxi up on there?
Duh. I'm so sorry. That was such a dumb. I didn't even think about that.
So yeah, that's probably not going to be an option. But I would love that if even if they just supported mil CD, because then people are just gonna run their self boots on it anyway and play whatever they want. If they just allow mil CD compatibility with the Dreamcast, people will find ways around it, and self boots is going to be the way to go with that if they do. But that would be interesting. I personally don't see it happening, but if it does happen, that would be cool.
So why don't we talk about that? I've been asking beta testers, among was Damian McFerrin from Nintendo Life, what their opinion of do they think that it's going to be November, that there's no more pushbacks after this, and they seem more confident, because from what I can tell, and this is something that me and Damien agree on, is that the hardware is done.
Yeah.
That just is a fact. So, or as far as I know, but it seems most likely. So, all the rest, as you said, is the crushing the beta, the getting the bugs through the beta testing and all that kind of stuff, making it as compatible as possible. So, do you think they're just trying to cram all of this as soon as possible and then ship it out? Because to me, Damien even said, honestly, they could ship it now and I think it would be fine. Which I think
so
you
too.
Even said that too.
But
I agree with that as well.
Let me shake the 8-ball and see.
What do you mean?
It says ask later. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No, so I think
no.
personally that the polymega, if they wanted to release it now, they could. I'm not sure what their manufacturing situation is like, but I think if they were to release it now, I think there's still a lot of bugs that they want to make sure that are taken care of. But if they wanted to release it in its current state, I don't think anybody would mind.
No, and that's exactly it, because I almost think that it's like almost like, okay, end of September, just be done, and then start producing. The reason I'm not trying to be bossy or anything, you know, but the reason I say that is because most of the compatibility is fucking down, and for anyone that, you know, that uses emulation and you know, like, oh, this game has a bug or whatever, you know, they will play other things until that like gets fixed, and it gets fixed reasonably like on time. You know, so another example of that being is that like most of the compatibility and the bugs are like essentially all set. So it's just like if you released it now and then just did updates, I think people would find that completely tolerable. Right. I mean, the people that are getting this most likely have a sizable or ginormous collection. Like, boohoo, you know, NBA Jam doesn't have this mode as a selection. It's like, oh darn, if only I had 500 other games I could play. Oh wait, I do. You know what I mean?
That's why I think it's important also that they do take care of the majority of these bugs before the system is released, because someone in the chat just said, that they could do updates online, right? But how good would that look for the console if a bunch of mega collectors, and say some of those mega collectors happen to be influencers, right? And they start playing a bunch of games and like, oh, I ran into this problem, or I ran into that problem. It's going to turn into a PR nightmare. But at the same time, like Bocop said, another thing that would be a PR nightmare is if they didn't release it by that November date. Because I think now everybody is expecting it by that November date.
Yes, like I really think it will. You know, I think it will kill it. It will definitely kill the appeal. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And I've said this as an example before, and I know making a game is a lot different than making a game system, and I know there's a lot of variables, but I'm going to make the comparison, analogy, whatever you want to call it anyway. You know, when someone says, I want to make a video game, they have a couple options. One being they buy Unreal Engine or some engine, and it takes them 2 years to make. Or I'm going to make a game from scratch. So that's 4 years of development right there.
Yep.
So comparing that to so when people like were saying, all these pushbacks, it's like, if it surpasses 4 years, I think that's when you have to be concerned.
Yep.
It's getting to that point. So that's what I'm kind of basing it off of. So, I do think they'll be in serious trouble. You know, in fact, I should, that kind of harsh, stark kind of thought might actually be the push and the, you know, maybe the catalyst of what will make this actually release November. So in that way, it might actually be a good thing.
Yeah. Well, see, for me, it's not really the amount of time that they put into it as much as them pushing it back as many times as it's been pushed back. I think that's the bigger issue. Not so much the development time, but, you know, if they... And I understand why right now, right? Because we're in, like, completely uncertain times. They did fall into a bunch of different issues, but I think that at this point, if they don't meet that November deadline, I think a lot of people are going to be upset by it, and I can't necessarily blame them for that. But I do know, I've seen what they've gone through with a lot of the stuff, like their issues with manufacturing. There was a whole like thing where like a bunch of the review units got lost, and then those units were found, but they were trashed, and then they had to like do like a whole like insurance thing, and it was a big mess. And then they had a factory in China closed down, so they moved operations from China to Taiwan. So they have run into a lot of issues as of recent, which really suck. But I think now that they're at a point where everything is more manageable, So I still don't know what the logistics of their manufacturing is like, but I would think that by now, if they were able to produce 200 units for the beta testers, they should be able to produce at least a sizable number, if not for everyone's pre-orders, at least for a good number of them, right? I would think. I would hope.
Yeah, and this is just speculation hour, so I have no, do I have a degree in business? Do I own a store? No, I don't know. I don't do any of these things. So, and sometimes I think I can overthink things as well. It's just, and I don't want to express fear into people who have pre-ordered this as I say this, because that's not what I want to do. But, I said myself, if that's something that like they didn't, if they missed the date or something, that's not a video I want to make, but I'll do it, and it's just,
it's just tough because they have had a lot of really bad hands dealt to them. Naveed actually pointed out that there was a huge CPU shortage. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, I remembered that
whole,
too.
Like, Apple was buying up all those CPUs or whatever. I think it was Apple. I don't remember. Some big phone manufacturer, and so they didn't have enough CPUs to manufacture the units back then. So it was like just like one thing after another, right at like the finish line, which is always like shitty, right? Like you're so close, and then it's like boom, red tape, wall, red tape. Right. So
I think they're ambitious. I think that's what it is. I think I think they're offering something that's I think it's a quality product. Clearly, I don't know. I just want to see their success. That's all. And it's not so I can, quote unquote, be right. It really isn't. It's just more or less like, I like the product and I would like to own one, and so would many others. And a lot of people would be disappointed too. But we're not going to be all doom and gloom about that kind of stuff. I just, it has passed my head a couple times, but I will say, me communicating to beta testers, it seems like most of them think that it will be released on November. Bocop seems to think so. I think you said you seem to think so, and so did Damian McFerrin from Nintendo Life.
Yeah.
So, it'll be great though. It will be great because I feel like I might put my polymega right here, because if I want to stream it, I will. And I've got the Mister and the polymega that are going to be there, and they can make out and date and stuff like that. And then all the retro enthusiasts can like their heads will spin like in The Exorcist because they're confused.
Make love, not hate.
Yeah, right. And just having these here for like streaming or anything if I wanted to, or for recording for videos, it's just convenient, fun. Yeah, just kind of talking in circles at this point. But
and then some people, let's see, Mr. Mega Man Fan says the manufacturing shortages for spring summer were understandable. But by now they should have been caught up. Kenshiro Smith says, I think all the delays for such a small company or for such a small team are understandable. It's a freaking console with a very small team. I don't want to wait forever, but as a developer myself, I have compassion. Now that's actually a good point to make, because they're not Sony or Microsoft. They are a company comprised of a handful of people that, have contracted work to get like the R&D for creating their BIOSes and stuff, and then they contract manufacturers to put it all together. So that's actually a really good point, that they are not a big suit. They are still relatively small company. So I think obviously it has been a long time, right? And like November is like this date that everybody wants it, but I do understand all of the things that have happened along the way. So
it's just that everyone has a limit. That's the only thing to keep in mind. So that's even if you want the best for it, it's like, look guys, is it gonna hey, you get my point,
right?
Yeah. So but anyway, I am excited for it. I definitely want it in my hands. You got to experience it. All the beta testers love it. All that good stuff.
We all love the polymega. Screw the Net says COVID is still a good reason. People just don't have enough foresight and sense to understand once the weather gets cooler, rates will go up. Clearly, it's flu season too, so there's going to be more deaths. Okay, so that's more of a COVID thing.
Well,
but yes,
that got dark.
right? Like really quick. But
Yeah.
I mean, it is true. So John
Yeah.
Frank says, "Let me get my small violin for those crying in here." Is that something that's happening right now? I'm not paying attention to all the comments. Suddenly they're going quick. Let's see here. Somebody's saying, so wait. Kenshiro says, so wait until they fail instead of just using your crystal ball as been suggested of the CEO. Yeah, so I mean, like, there's a lot of people who like want to see this thing fail, right? Because I don't know why.
I think I said it to Victor on the chat, and he responded to it, which is what made him say like, "Oh, I seen you around," which made me happy. But he said, because I told him like, he asked me if I was a beta tester. I said no, but like I just defend it because a lot of the retro community trashes it, and he's like, yeah, but and I really just praise the people that don't go down the rabbit hole like I do, and all that kind of stuff, because he's just like, it's not for those guys. Yep. It's for people that have this collection and or want to build a collection and things like that. And I think if your hobby is building stuff, then you got it, man. You don't need to do the stuff. If your hobby's collecting, then here you go. I don't know. It keeps on going down to one specific baseline thing, and it's preferences. The system isn't a piece of shit. It's, as you have shown the world through YouTube. It's not as if it's this unplayable thing. That's the thing that I just can't wrap my head around. Is just that, like, my console's the best, and it's like, didn't we have these arguments in the playground when we were 12? Like, oh,
people are still having these arguments.
Blast processing, Sega Genesis is better. It's like, yeah, well, it doesn't have 240 by whatever resolution on the Super Nintendo. Goo goo gaga, I play game. It's like, God, and then I catch myself. It's like, I probably shouldn't even comment to like half of these things, because it's like, A, me repeating myself, or B, it's like, it's not going to get me anywhere. So and then, because I thought about that today, it's just like, I've got this, video that has like 50 likes to 1 dislike ratio, and one guy says something negative, and it's like, is it really worth my time? Because it seems like most people agree with my stance anyway.
Yeah, so I try not to engage ever with that kind of stuff, because one, I don't really have the time. I did once and I regret it, but it was on a bad time. Like, I had a friend whose mom died from COVID, and like, I just happened to open up Twitter at the time, and I'm like, fuck you, so it's like, but normally I don't engage. If they get like crazy, I just block. But there is a fair number of positivity coming from people with the polymega as well. Actually, speaking of which, Jonah Fair says, these episodes have been awesome. You two have an awesome passion for gaming and for the community.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing these. I know we did this live. We started off really rocky, but then we got our groove back to normal. But we started off really rocky because I don't understand technology, but we figured it out.
We built that. Exactly.
We figured it out. So if you're watching this later, sorry for the first 5 minutes. I'm gonna put a disclaimer down the thing and be like, skip to 7 minutes and whatever.
I never used the YouTube editor, but when I finished that podcast, it's like, it's like there's some segments that are good and just some that take too long. Yeah. The YouTube editor, I was fine with trimming it. So just trim the 5 minutes off.
Yeah, maybe I'll just trim it where I start at the very beginning when it was actually working.
Maybe you want to show like the intro, and then you can just trim out the part where we're just like, there you go.
Maybe. So, or maybe I won't do anything because I'm lazy.
Who cares? Or whatever.
people will figure it out.
Sure.
But I apologize in advance for those of you who are watching it later. But yeah, there is a number of positive comments and stuff about the polymega that I've seen online. A lot of people are generally excited for it. It's just a really small handful that are upset over it for whatever reason, and then there are the people who are understandably upset because of the delay as well. So there's just a number of things, or people who are upset over the price of the unit itself.
It's strange to see people defect I've seen a couple of these people where it's like, I had this, like, okay,
pre-ordered.
I'm laughing because I really shouldn't be, but it's like I had this pre-ordered and I expected it around Christmas of 2018 or 19 or something like that, around that time, and I didn't get it, so now I canceled it, and I hate Polymega, and it's just like, man, I don't know. I just found it kind of like they had pushbacks previously during that time frame, so having that expectation seems a little bit unrealistic.
Unrealistic, yeah. And
so it's just the fun. What makes me laugh is I have to use the word defect as if it's like this, like this militant army. Like, it's so weird. I don't know. It's sort of like, I'm not even trying to get political, but it's just like, I used to be a Democrat, then this happened, and it's like, okay.
They defected to the Raspberry Pi Nation.
And it's always like this, like shallow, mundane reason, and it's like, I'm not saying being upset that literally everyone is upset that when this gets pushed. It's just, what are your expectations, and what, let's say you can't handle waiting, another set amount of time, then fine, understandable.
John Frank says poly Karens is what they're called. Some of them are in here.
Karens.
So that actually started here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it started, the whole poly Karens thing started on our live streams here.
Where someone jumps in and shits on it.
Yeah, just shits on the polymega.
I feel like that would inevitably happen. See, like, I can't even pay attention to the comments enough to even respond to it, as if it would be worth my time anyway.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm paying attention. Sometimes if I cut you off, it's just because I'm trying to read it before the page like scrolls way gone.
I have it on my phone right here, so just scrolling through a tiny little amount of text isn't all that helpful either.
Pap Sobin wants to know where you bought your shirt, Cat Pat.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. So
he's a big Neo Geo guy as well.
Yep. So that's the AES. I don't know if you can see it, but you know what's funny is I bought it from fangamer.com. They've got this, and they've got this other shirt that I was wearing in my second video. It's the Neo Geo Pocket shirt, and it's got a little pocket that says Neo Geo Pocket.
That one's cool.
So, yeah. Funny enough, I bought those, because I love the shirt and all that stuff. And then I noticed that MVG owns both of those shirts. So I wear. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh no, I have 3 shirts he has, because I have another Neo Geo with you remember the advertisement with the dog on it?
The bigger, better.
Yeah. I've got that as a shirt. That's also on fangamer.com. What makes fangamer.com so cool about their merchandise? Most of their merchandise, like when you buy video game merch, it can be kind of cringy, like a green mushroom that says 1-up or something.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, whatever. And then like Fangamer were like, let's make this not only about video games, but also like neat to look at and fashionable. So that's what I like about their website with their apparel. So,
I haven't bought any apparel from there, but I bought a bunch of soundtracks from them, because they have like Polestar and Art of Fighting. So I bought some Neo Geo soundtracks.
On vinyl or CD?
On CD. I don't have a record player.
Yeah, they
nor
vinyls.
I really want one.
Sure, fair enough. I've got some vinyls, but I mean, I have to because I've got hipster glasses, right? No, no, but yeah, thanks for liking my shirt.
Yeah, he's a big Neo Geo guy, so he wanted to know.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of people are talking about like negativity, blah 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 blah. Yeah, there's quite a bit of it. John says,
is there?
Oh, I'm looking at old. See, this is.
Now I'm gonna have to look.
Yeah, I missed it.
Oh, are they talking about people being negative, or there's people that are negative in
people
general?
Being that people like being negative about this anything really when it comes to like retro stuff. But let's see here.
Yeah.
Pap's trying to go buy a shirt. He says they're sold out in fat guy sizes. Bummer.
Yeah, damn. No, mine's a medium. For a while, I couldn't fit in this too. So,
what were you saying? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. On the other end, side tangent. I told you about my weight loss. I was at one. If you look at my like first Polymega video and then look at me now, you'll be like, oh, there is a difference. But I was 185. and I'm 5'6", so it's like 185 isn't a big deal. It is when you're 5'6". But I am 162 of this morning, so very happy about that. And by the way, it's only by literally omitting sugars and carbs.
Oh yeah.
Not completely. That's impossible. But like basically, no pastas, no breads, whatever. No fun. No, I'm just kidding. But
as I sip my soda.
Yeah, like look, and I'm not saying this to even brag or make anyone
sugar.
feel bad or anything. Dude, hey, at least you get to have fun. So whatever. Joke's on me.
I'm like two of you.
But what's that?
I said I'm like two of you.
Damn, harsh. But no, that's been a very uplifting thing for me, and
that's awesome.
It's funny that it's funny too, because it's like I'm surprised that I even had confidence to get in front of that camera and do that polymega video with being as heavy as I was. That was like the heaviest I've been. So, but yeah, man, thanks for liking my videos anyway. I don't think that's another thing too. I don't think people are as shallow as you may think, and most people don't even give a shit. It's like, what's really coming out of your mouth and your mind and your heart, and you're putting that content out is what gets people to stick with you. So, as most YouTubers know, so that's really nice. You get some really loyal fans out of that stuff.
Yeah, like a majority of the people who are in here now are like the regulars that come to the streams, which is cool. I haven't seen any real new faces. A couple new names actually, but not a whole lot.
Sure.
It's pretty much all the regular crowd, which is nice. I do see a couple new names. Ashley Awesome says the polymega is for the silent majority, not elitist retro enthusiasts or avid misters.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then someone would argue, like, well, is that really a smart business decision? And here's the thing. Brian Burnell straight up told me through a Twitter DM that, after he was talking to me because of my first video, like, look, we don't need to sell. We're not trying to sell 1 million units. Like, we don't have that expectation.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like they need to sell, again, 1 million units to make like a big giant profit.
Right.
So, there's that in that regard. So I guess they can afford to be having a demographic to that subsect.
Sure. Yeah, they don't need it to be huge, right? Like that's not what they're going for. They're not trying to get in every single house in America.
Right. There's no way. There really isn't. A lot of the retro guys are choosing the polymega in comparison to the PlayStation 5. And first, let's take a second to kind of really appreciate something about this. Everyone's saying $400 is too expensive, and then Xbox Series X, $500, PlayStation 4 with a disc drive, $500. Yeah. You could say that at least Xbox is doing the payment plan thing, which is really bizarre to me. I suppose that's cool, but I feel like I'm paying for like a cell phone service for my video games.
Yeah, that's weird. I found that weird. Like I don't know how they're doing that. Like, is it like at crazy interests or like what's going on with that?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it. It could be. It's very, very odd. Bocop says they are laser focused on error reporting and feature stuff in there, so it's not super chatty for casual staff, understandably. I don't know if that was...
I'm guessing they're talking about the Discord? Polymega Discord, maybe?
Yeah, I was going to ask...
He's saying he reports stuff in the Polymega Discord.
Someone else says, fucking PS5 has no backwards compatibility. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying earlier.
Not even with 4? It does with 4, right? Like, that's it?
Oh, yeah, sorry, we're over-exaggerating here. It does for, like, 99% of PlayStation 4 games. I think what he's referring to is, 1 through 3.
Yeah, oh, man, that sucks.
Honestly, I just, you don't know how bad I would have loved that for the PS5, because I don't want my PS3 anymore. I barely play it. I keep it for my certain games that I have. And like you, I have Scott Pilgrim on there. Thank God they finally re-released that for the Switch, so that's a good thing. So, yeah.
I think it's going to be physical, too. I hope.
Physical, interesting.
Yeah.
Great.
So, I would have bought it even if they had just offered PS3 backward compatibility. I still would have bought a PS5. You know, because I still have a good number of PS3 games, and it would have been cool to
That's
be
fair.
able to download like all the PS3 stuff, like Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah,
so,
you know, there's the Persona fighting game.
yeah,
Persona 4 Ultimax. That's a dope game. Why is that? Why isn't that got? You know, I don't understand how that game doesn't have a damn port.
Yeah,
like I really don't. If they've got Street Fighter 4, if they've got 50 different versions of Blaze Blue, what else? They ported something else too. I can't remember. I think the last
Under
Blade
Night
is
in-Birth also. That was PS3, and Under Night in-Birth got a PS4 release.
Yeah, so you know,
maybe some issue with Atlas, I'm guessing, or Sega.
It could be. I have no idea, but P4 is a solid title for a fighting game as well. So,
yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I think what people like, and this isn't just with the appeal of the polymega, but even with the Mister and the you know, the rigs you build with your PC, making it all in one, you know, console for your television, is having all your games in one place.
Reluctant, right? Know? And Reluctant Hero is saying, and that's actually, it's funny because he's like, never sell your consoles, but you know, going to what you're saying, it's convenient to have everything in like one place, right? And that's like the big allure of the polymega is, you know, there's not a bajillion like wires that are connected. So it would have been so cool at the PlayStation 5, not only if it was backward compatible, but if you were like able to like stream like all that old stuff as well through the PS5. I mean, that would have been so rad. But even if not, collecting just being able to play it.
Yeah, and collecting PlayStation games and PlayStation 2 games, when you think about like, oh, you know, like I've mentioned Tales of Destiny 2 with you, how that's like a $200 to $300 game now. You know, however, I think that and maybe Suikoden 2 are like the highest priced PlayStation games, because everything else, PlayStation and PlayStation 2 are one of the most cheaper games to collect for. And you would know this, considering you collect Neo Geo games, for Neo Geo CD games.
Yep.
And that's very expensive. Like, you think that's bad, and then AES is probably worse. But
yeah, AES is way worse.
But
there are some AES games that are cheaper than Neo Geo CD games. Some AES ones are cheaper, but for the most part, most CDs are cheaper. There's like some anomalies on the Neo Geo CD, like the stupid golf game. It's not stupid, it's a great game, but it's stupid that it's so expensive. Yeah, it's like crazy expensive for that one.
Yeah, I don't care about top players as much as NeoTurf. NeoTurf kicks so much ass. Anyway, we talk about this like almost every time we're on the podcast.
I know, it's like stupid expensive golf game. No, not Top Players Golf, it's the same game. NeoTurf Masters.
NeoTurf Masters, yeah.
Top Players Golf is like a $30 game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, just like, look, I will keep my consoles if I have to. That's why I said I still have my CRT, and it's for one reason and one reason only. It's for having GunCon games for Time Crisis.
Yeah.
And Time Crisis 2. Obviously, I can't emulate PS2 games on the polymega. So, you know, down the line, I have considered, since I've built my arcade system, if I built this like PC rig specifically for like all that kind of stuff that can run these PS2 emulation, one of the most damn hardest things to emulate in general.
PS2 it's not like also had that whole like really unique chip processing thing as well.
Yeah,
they used the
motion engine or something.
Motion engine, which was difficult to emulate. So kind of like, and also difficult to develop for. The PS2 was another like Saturn deal where it was not easy for developers to develop games for it.
But yet it was a really big hit, so that's interesting.
It was a huge hit, and you know why, right? It's because it
was the DVD.
The first DVD player that people were able to bring home and watch movies. Shit, it was my first DVD player that I used regularly, because I had bought like a cheap one and it broke, and I was so mad. I was like, fuck DVDs! But then like the PS2 came out and I was like in love with it, and the DVD player worked, you know, swimmingly on the PS2.
That's the thing with that too, is that you know, DVD players at the time, it's like, $300 for a DVD player, or $300 for a DVD player and a fucking video game console.
Yep. Unless you bought some like cheap China shit that was gonna break, which I did, and it broke.
Yeah.
So I at the time I was like, screw DVDs, they suck,
Yeah.
And but then the PS2 came out, and I started to love DVDs after that. And same thing happened with the PS3 because they brought that media home for people. People started buying it.
Yeah.
The consumer base really ate into the new console, and suddenly you had this like new media player. And I think that's what helped Blu-rays as well. Blu-rays were really big also. Because
that's what's so strange about these newer consoles. To go back into this is you want that one gimmick that's just gonna like blow everything out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Just whether it's a highly anticipated game, a feature like a DVD player that like costs just as much as a normal DVD player and also plays games, things like that gimmick. That's what made the Wii sell, is the fact that it's so interactive. It sold the most units of that generation, so it's like I kind of miss the gimmick. I suppose the
Go buy an
Switch did it,
Amico.
but
The Amico's got that whole like spin wheel thing, and you can like touch and you can sniff them.
See, I have no idea. I've not seen anything about that.
Yeah, you can
but I don't think that's going to be like a PlayStation 5 level thing, or
it's got a
Xbox
little knob
One.
that you can flick too. It'll be cool. Everyone's going to love it.
I just yeah.
Catpat.exe is
Yeah.
trash.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, people are talking in the chat about like the value. Oh, because I guess PS1 and PS2. Yeah, PS1, PS2. They're expensive now. I guess everyone's talking about the value of PS1, PS2.
What do you mean, the games?
Yeah, the games. Yeah, because PS1, PS2, like anything good is expensive now. I think if you're looking to buy like cheap games that like are still decent, PS3 is probably the way to go right now. Like PS3 games are still really cheap. But
Crash Bandicoot 1 through 3 is still cheap, and so is
those are the
Spyro.
games that they made like a bajillion of. We're talking about like say like
Tony Hawk,
like you said, Tales, right? Like Tales of Destiny and Tales of Destiny 2 or
See, I don't know how true that is though, because I almost want to look at my catalog.
Those are expensive. The Tales games are expensive. Take any working designs game like on PS1. Those are all expensive.
They're always expensive.
That's true. They're always
Christ.
expensive, no matter what console they're on. So maybe that's not a good example. But like Einhander was one that Square made a good number of, and those are expensive now.
They are. I'm not saying that it's cheap. What I'm saying is it is cheaper to collect for those than it is for a lot of other retro titles. That's what I'm saying.
Like compared to like Sega Saturn or like Neo Geo
Correct.
CD. Yeah, those are.
Yeah, good luck finding a Sega Saturn game that doesn't have a fucking crack on it.
Yeah, no shit. They're really expensive too for anything good. Even Japanese games now are like super expensive for anything decent.
Yeah, I don't know why I spent $50 on Waku Waku 7. I'm sure it'll play fine and it'll be fun.
Ugh, I don't like the Saturn port of it. I really wish that Neo Geo CD had gotten some sort of port for it.
The background of that the background of the Sega Saturn
is
port
like
is very pixelated.
Yeah, because like it's at the most zoomed in. It's at the most zoomed out point. Is at the foreground. That's supposed to be like when it's like the most zoomed out. That's the resolution that they used as the normal background, and which I thought was terrible. I don't know why they did that. Kenshiro Smith says, "Won't the polymega?" Yeah, we talked about the light gun support earlier. There will be the Sinden light gun is going to be used on the polymega at some point, but who knows when, because their focus is not on peripherals right now, I'm sure. But man, if they do get that Sinden light gun working well early on, that's going to sell a shit ton of consoles, you think? I think.
It might. Possibly. I like the design of the polymega gun more than the Sinden's OG model.
Yeah. Well, Sinden's making it.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of funny. The only thing the polymega, because I think the Sinden's offering two different models. They both look similar, but one has a recoil when you shoot.
Oh, are they? Oh, that's kind of cool.
That's pretty damn cool.
That's cool. I had
The
no idea.
polymega is I like the design of it, but it doesn't show any recoil. So, who gives a shit? But I'm just saying that.
I mean, it is
the
cool.
recoil
Like
option-
that is cool. Recoil is pretty dope because you like feel it.
Yeah,
Like playing.
I
I used to love that about Time Crisis in the arcade. Was
Oh, God.
it was like
yeah.
like it just felt heavy, right?
Exactly. There was 3 games. There was any of the Time Crisis games had it, and then there was Time Crisis Zone, which had the machine gun. Oh my god! As a kid, I was just like ecstatic because like it's a machine gun, so you're like feeling everything.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. And then there was this one Japanese imported title. I don't remember the name of it, but it was basically like you were like robot cops in the future, and you're like flying on this like this jetpack or something, and you had these machine guns. It was so funny. I think I was in like 5th, 6th grade. Me and my friend were playing it, and it was my birthday. And before we saw the video or the movie, my dad gave me a bunch of coins, and we're playing this game. And again, recoil on these giant ass machine guns. And we go back to my dad. My dad looks at us both, and he goes, "Why are you guys sweating?" So it was a damn blast. I wish I remember the name of that game.
See, there's a number of light gun games also that we didn't get in America. I can't think of anyone. I have one for the Saturn.
I never played Point Blank, and I really want to.
Oh, those are
like
fun.
A lot of fun.
Those are fun. Actually, I almost answered with that when you asked me what my favorite like light gun games were, because those are a lot of fun. Those are a lot of fun. But I have one. It was called like I forgot what it was called. Hakaider, the violence violator or something. I don't remember something violator of something. But it's like a gun game that I've never even heard of. And there's a number of like gun games that just never made it here that are like, Japanese import only as well. So that'll be interesting to play like gun games I've never even heard of. Would be cool.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's also another popular one called Police Trainer. If you don't remember,
I remember Police Trainer.
I actually enjoyed that, which is kind of shocking because it was kind of basic, but like it was fun. But if some people might not know it by that title, but if you like looked it up on YouTube, be like, "Oh, holy shit! I did play this as a kid." That happened.
Yeah,
to
I
me
remember playing that in the arcade. That Police Trainer.
Yeah.
Snatcher also has a segment that you can use the what was that gun called?
I don't remember, but same thing with Police Knots. You can use a gun con for it.
The Lethal Enforcer's gun. The
yeah.
Enforcinator. I don't remember what it's called. Somebody asked, "Is Dreamcast coming to Polymega?" Probably not.
I don't know. We'll see.
It'd be cool if it did, but I don't think so. Bad Company says, once the Polymega gets released, I wonder how much it will affect game prices. That's
what.
A
it's
good
funny
question.
You should say that. I actually thought about that because I once I pre-ordered the Polymega, I was like, I need to start collecting now because if it gains, it's almost a consequence. So it's like on one hand, it's like oh, wouldn't they suck if they kept pushing the dates and eventually it just flopped? It's like yes.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the console is a huge success. People are buying consoles, but eventually it would almost seem like it would have to stop. Like sales would just start declining because the prices of these games are just getting higher and higher because of the demand of them.
Yeah.
And they stop producing the games, so it's not like they're manufacturing them. You're buying them used from some Joe Schmo.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they foresaw that, and that's why they're like, you know what? We need to offer a marketplace. But even then, that's not going to get you from... I don't know. I don't know if Mario World is ever going to fucking sell out.
Like you're not going to get
know.
your Tales of Destiny 2 on the marketplace. But the marketplace is probably going to be for a lot of like mostly smaller third parties whose licenses got sold to other people, and those people are selling away the licenses because they bought them. That's what we're going to see a lot of. Like we're going to see a lot of like stuff that's owned by Extreme, right? Like all the Messiah stuff. We already see a lot of Messiah stuff already pre-installed. We're gonna see stuff like that, stuff by Telenet, things that are small third-party stuff is what we're gonna see. I don't think we're gonna see a lot of big-time third-party. Like I don't think we're gonna see like Konami or Capcom stuff on there. We're especially not gonna see any first-party shit for sure.
I don't know. Like again, I don't know anything about that kind of side of stuff, but it'd be interesting if Konami decided to, because all they're doing is making pachinko machines. So if they're like, hey, we can just make money off of our old IPs, here you go,
selling off their old IPs.
I wonder if that would be a realm of possibility. To be honest, that would be.
And you know what? Yeah, they might offer the Hudson Soft stuff, because that was something that they bought with the intention to repurpose, like they did with the PC Engine Minis. So they might want to repurpose some of those IPs that they already own. But they also might not want to compete with the fact that they already have the Mini out there. So maybe like once that loses traction, then they'll be like, okay, you know what? We can resell these IPs to these people here, and then they can put it on the store. Mr. Blundlight says, hack the poly. That's another thing too. Yeah, right? Like for sure, it's going to be.
You brought
like
that up because I wanted to talk about that. So, what were you saying though?
I was just to say that for sure that's going to be a thing. That's going to be hacked.
It will be. It will absolutely be.
But yeah, definitely. Let's get into that next. I think that should be the next thing we talk about really quick. But going back to the store. Definitely not going to see third party, but somebody did say that it would be cool if they offered the gun games on the polymega, right? Like if there were like gun games that people can download once the Sinden light gun is available. I think that would be cool as well. I think the main thing though for the store is going to be indie stuff, right? Like that's going to be like the main thing that people are going to want to, or that people are going to be able to get, is a lot of the indie stuff for sure.
Again, I would love to see like Panzer Paladin on there. I think that's the name of it. Or
oh my god, yeah. I haven't played that yet, but it looks excellent.
It looks dope, and I like that artist too. He seems like a real cool dude. But yeah, definitely I could see that, and we discussed that prior as well. Yeah, and even then with that, like the lack of certain games is still going to have some kind of limitations there. So it almost like seems like. Are you okay with me segueing to the hacking thing now?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Somebody actually mentioned earlier that they would buy the polymega once it got hacked. So,
see, that's interesting because people would say again, well, then why not just get your all-in-one PC? But again, if I made the case that if it turns out, by the way, when I said that polymega made that input latency statement about the one for the module and the 2-to-2-ish. For the USB controller, Retro RGB and Digital Foundry are actually going to be testing that. Retro RGB already knows about the USB one, but he wants to test the module as well. But Damian McFerrin actually posted about that one frame with the module. So it seems like that is actually very likely that's the case. So going back to that hack thing, it's like, well, why not, make your all-in-one PC or whatever?
Yeah.
It's like, well, it seems like the polymega might be viable for hacking because it's going to be closer to the latency than old PC that you're putting together.
Yep.
So, that might be that realm of possibility. And I got to tell you, it would be dope as hell to have. I wouldn't be, honestly, again, it's for a system for people that don't want to mess around and do that shit.
Yep.
But I honestly would like to have both because, and maybe it's not a good thing for me saying that, but I don't know. It's not as if, like, this is why I say think of it this way. Let's say, what's a good example? Because you can make reproduction discs and stuff like that, which they don't even care about. So Polymega doesn't even care about. So
I mean, it plays them, it breeds them, it copies them. So.
Right. So let's do this hypothetically. Oh man, I want to play Suikoden 2, but I don't want to pay $300 for a copy. Let's go to the download store. Oh man, they don't have it for the download store. So if you were to hack it for certain things like that, it's like, who can blame you? You're out of options. Sure, you could do the CD, backup, but
sure.
And perhaps I could have done a different example. Maybe you know what? I'll go back to this. You know how we said that Waku Waku 7 didn't really get a decent port? There you go. If it was hacked, you can actually put the Neo Geo game on there. Perfect.
Yeah.
There you go. You know, so things like that to fill in the gap, so to speak. So,
yeah.
You know, the only thing that would be a hindrance to is, you know, if they were offering a, you know, the same game on their store and then someone hacked it so they can just get that same game. So that would be the only thing really hindering it. So, you know, it's not like I want to necessarily advocate for that. But again, if people are buying the system because they don't want to mess with emulators and stuff, I guess as if the polymega wasn't already a subsect of people, it'd be more of a subsect of people wanting it and to hack it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But
so,
I mean, you know what's going to happen. It's going to like...
Yeah,
Brian
even said it.
Yeah, someone's going to crack the shit out of it. I mean, it's Linux-based. It's going to happen.
That's really
inevitable. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's Linux based, so it getting hacked is only a matter of time. But because then you're gonna have people who, like you said, you want both, right? You want to be able to use it how you're using it, but you also want to be able to like load ROMs or whatever, probably via SD card or what have you. But yeah, for sure, it's going to happen at something.
On the Retro RGB interview with Brian, you know, he said, look, you know, if people can jailbreak, you know, Sony, they'll get to this.
Yeah.
And it's like 100%.
Yeah.
So
probably within a matter of months.
Here's the great thing about that. If they really do well, if whoever works on some kind of hack like that, if they do it really well and they just keep it like custom, like I wouldn't want it to, if they did that, I would not want it to be like choose between the custom firmware and RetroArch. It's like, no, that's dumb.
Yeah,
I would want it integrated with the custom UI.
Oh yeah.
So because
the UI is super nice.
So if I'm hovering over Waku Waku 7, the AES console version for the Neo Geo, it's like, well, how are they going to get the art assets because it has to be connected to the database? It's like, okay, I'm guessing you could upload a picture with the ROM to use as a border and using as an icon and using all that kind of stuff to like customize that specific ROM. So, you know, and we're definitely getting ahead of ourselves in this territory now. But
again, I mean, like the possibility is there for sure, right?
That. And especially for like CPS2 games. Oh my god!
Gosh,
yes,
right?
Yes.
It's like give me all that shit.
Yeah. There's one game that I don't know if you've ever played this, but it is so not talked about. I almost said it's sickening. It's not that harsh, but it makes me.
It disgusts me.
Yeah, it's so fucking awesome in its design and its play. You like shooters, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
The shmups.
Mm-hmm.
Pro Gear on CPS2. Pro Gear is fucking awesome.
Is it?
Oh my god, the art is so detailed. I mean, it looks like I mean, the sprite work I feel like is a combination of the Neo Geo detail of sprite work combined with CPS2's colorful presentation.
How have I not heard of?
Gorgeous. Look up Pro Gear CPS2.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's a solid game. Oh my god, I would love to. Like, I was thinking about that the other day. Like, why don't I play that more often? It's mainly because I want to experience it with someone and play it together.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was originally developed by Cave. It's a Cave.
Yes,
game.
It was, which explains why it fucking rules.
Yeah.
So yeah, Cave kicks ass with its shooters.
To be able to play that and stuff. I wonder, like, someone eventually is going to hack it to be able to play that stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I will say this, you know, I sit here and I'm talking about the retro elitists, you know, sticking their nose up to it. But when you've got someone like Retro RGB and MVG saying like, I am optimistic about this.
People for real.
Yeah. And I just love the attitude on it, and that's how I feel too. It's just like, hey, for some people, and if you like it, great. If you don't, here's another option. And it's like that is the exact attitude people should have about this damn thing.
Yeah, that's what it is. If you don't like it, then go play your Raspberry Pi and be happy with whatever you're playing. As long as you're playing games, play the games how you want to play them. Yeah. You want to play them on your Raspberry Pi, cool. You do that. You want to play him on your cool baby? Enjoy him on your cool baby and your Pal Kitty. You know, however you want to do it.
I'll tell you this right now. There is a joy of me owning the Mister, and it's not just because I'm a dork and I like putting these things together, but the other reason is because, you know, and Bocop is a great example of this. He's like, I have the Mister, I'm a beta tester, I like both, and it's like, thank you God for being that example, and I want to do the same. You know, I want to support open development, and I want to support the retro community as a whole, not put a subsect divisive mentality on that. That's just stupid.
Right. And
like a lot of the reasons people collect things, it's like, oh, that's dumb. You spent this amount of money on it. It's like, you can't put a price on sentimentality. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
100%. And with me, it's actually like how you both, you know, you have a Mister. You're getting a Polymega. Bocop has he's a beta tester for the Polymega, and he has a Mister. I've always been a huge fan of real hardware. I have all the real hardware, multiple iterations of a lot of the
Polymega.
Hardware.
What are you, stupid?
Right, exactly. See, that's what I'm saying is like, because, you know, I have all of these like real hardware. A lot of people are like really diehard, right, about they'll only play it on real hardware and blah blah blah.
I think they're just trying to have a dick measuring contest to impress all their other Reddit friends, and it's just like, go talk. I made that example last time. I talked to a real person about that stuff, and he was just like, he's the owner of a game store. He's like, I don't want to configure emulators. So real people don't give a shit. They just don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and a lot of the thing that I sold the whole idea of, you know, like the whole like retro game party, you know, your friends come over, they all want to sit down, they don't want to watch you fiddle around with all your freaking cables or your switches.
I think about that.
I've done that. I've done that several times because I've always had like game get-togethers pre-COVID, right? But like pre-COVID, we always got together here and we played games because I have all the systems. So like people would come, we'd play all the games, you know, sometimes people would bring their games and we'd have that whole like, it was kind of cool because we'd have like that 10-minute like gap where I was fiddling with stuff and people would talk or whatever, or, you know, eat a slice of pizza in between. But now it could be like seamless. It's like game after game after game after game. Yeah. But also as a streamer, it's just highly convenient, you know, and I've already talked about it 100 times. I'm not going to mention it again, but as a streamer, it's true. Super highly convenient. For obvious
it's
reasons.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. I remember, you know, I have to shout out to a couple of my Twitter loyal fans. Red Geist was telling me, because his wife, I believe, she does a stream. She streams her content, and having the Polymega again is going to be a dream come true for a lot of that stuff. So, yeah, that's not the first time I've heard that, and it certainly won't be the last.
And Bocop says there's a rush of cool retro products now. Why limit yourself? It's nuts. Yeah, why limit yourself to like one thing if you can
exactly
do multiple things, right? Like if you only have to buy one, then choose wisely. Just do your own fucking research on it and buy whatever fits you better.
And I've said this plenty. You know, I'll give you a great example as well. So, you know, there's things let's talk about like save states and like the morality of cheating with save states, because you can do that. So, but let me give you an example of the correct way. My cat's on my lap, so if you hear any weird noises on my... I have rebranded from Cat Pat to Cat Lap. Sorry, everyone. Anyway, so 2 examples. One, probably a good solid way for save states. One, you know, if you want to cheat, you want to cheat. I don't care. But like, it's a cheating way, so no getting around it. So the first thing is, so at Mega Man X, at the end, when you're about to fight Sigma, there's this room where there's these really easy enemies you can kill. And they do that on purpose because if you die fighting against Sigma, and you use up all your energy tanks, there's like 4 of them, they're empty. So they place those small enemies for a game design choice, which is smart, for you to kill repeatedly so you can fill up your energy tanks again before you fight Sigma again.
Yep.
So that's smart. Here's the problem. You do that, you fight Sigma, you die and use all your tanks.
Yep.
Now you're spending more time
just refilling your tanks.
Exactly.
Yep.
So if you save state right there, that just cuts out all that farming. So it's like, that is the way for save states. That's great. You could use save states however you want. I'm not going to be whatever. But I don't feel gratified when I'm like fighting a boss and I get a good hit and then I quickly save state. So that way, like, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't feel good.
Yeah. See, that's something I'm getting used to. I've never done emulation. Polymega is like my first real foray into emulation.
Sure.
The only emulation I was ever used to before, because I didn't even play the minis a lot. I bought them, but I didn't really even play them, so I didn't really do save states on them or anything. So I'm just getting used to using that, and like sometimes I'll be playing and I'm like, fuck, and I so I have to start over, and it's like Jesse's like, why don't you just save state at the beginning of whatever and just start from there? And I'm like, shit, I forget I could do that. I always forget I could do that on this thing still now.
And I gotta tell you, like, what's great about save states, it's just literally adding a modern feature to something retro, and it makes it so much more digestible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
especially
some of those
now,
games,
right? Because like we're all adults and we have jobs and shit.
Yeah, and even if it's a kid playing, like I remember as a kid, it's just like, hey, we got to go somewhere. It's like, wait till I get a save point, and your dad has he has no fucking idea what you're talking about. He just thinks you're being an ass and saying like, 2 minutes, Dad. It's like, no, I literally can't save.
Rips the AC adapter out of the wall. I've had that happen before.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. It's just, especially for RPGs. Oh my God, this is like save states are wonderful.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Again, if the Mister had it, it would destroy any other competition at that point. Among other core supports, but because it's a not self-developed, but like it's a community, open source community that these are developers doing it for free on their spare time, and then they have some Patreons to hopefully speed up the thing. It's going to take some time before you get all these cores. I mean, they'll
eventually get it though. I believe. I believe it'll eventually.
And I hope that if the polymega, and I shouldn't say if, I'll say once the polymega releases, if they come out with some way to hack it and stuff like that, and I have it by then, I will sure as hell help you out if you need help with that kind of stuff, because I'm all about that stuff. If you get a Mister, Bocop is a great resource for that. He helped me with that. I'm more than willing to help, but he's probably the guy to go to as well. So it's just, the thing is that I these open source things are great and stuff like that, like especially with FPGA, but it still has some time. I cannot foresee Sega Saturn showing up for a long time. Do you
think so?
Yes.
Wow.
I could be wrong, but like I'm glad PlayStation's around the corner. That's going to be the first like hard display. A guy who develops it on Twitter, he got a good chunk done, but he actually reached out to people saying, hey, do you want to be part of this development team to continue it? So yeah,
Saturn
it takes time.
So good on the polymega.
And that's and Bocop uses this as an example. He uses the Mister for a lot of his cart-based games. Use the polymega for your CD-based ones. There you go. It's again, you can mix and match these things.
Not me, because I just installed all of my cartridges onto the polymega. So
right. The only
quick,
thing
though.
that
it's
I'm
really quick.
What's up?
It's really quick to install carts on the polymega, which is cool.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just a quick dump and you're ready to go.
One thing that I am sort of wishing that happened is because they were briefly talking about like they openly said on Twitter, what if we made a PSP module? And I would say if they did that,
oh my God,
they should definitely include PS2 or PS1 controller support to that module.
Right?
I think
that
would be
be
so that's
amazeballs.
The latency thing, because again, I'm a big Super Nintendo fan, so yeah, I got that. But when someone mentioned that Sega Genesis module and using that for Sega Saturn games, I'm like, God damn it, that is a great idea, but I'm not going to spend $80 just for controller support because I wouldn't. I can only think of a couple Genesis games I would own, but they wouldn't be the first things I'd collect.
Dude, I would. If they made a PSP module, I would not think twice about it. It would be done. I would get.
Yeah, I mean, playing games like Tactics Ogre on the big screen would be. I
have a shit ton of PSP originals, so I would.
Oh my gosh, that's another thing too. Is that like Tales of Destiny 2 is stupid expensive on the PS1.
Yeah.
PSP, they ported it. It's actually called Tales of Eternia. They ported that.
That's the original
in Europe.
I have that one.
It's fully in English for $40. So it's like there's another solution to that.
Yeah, you can get it on. I don't know about eBay, but like. I guess that would be the only place you would be able to get it, or import it from some shop in Europe, probably. But you can get it for way cheaper than Tales of Eternia 2, which is not even really what it's called anyway.
Yeah. What was another thing too? I wonder if we're going into speculation land again. We have been for a while, but I wonder how interesting it would be if they just sold a module solely for controller support. So imagine this: the dust cover, except it's shaped like the dust cover, but it has Super Nintendo ports, Sega Genesis ports, PlayStation ports. Yeah, that would be insane. Yeah, it would just be a controller module. I bet you could do. Yeah,
I'm sure.
I don't know how they would do it. But I think that's a damn good idea, and maybe not make it as expensive as the normal controller things.
Well, maybe just like $40
or the normal module prices. So maybe like I'd say 40, but I doubt they'd sell it for that because that's like how much their controllers are, their wireless ones.
Yeah,
maybe like 50 or 60. I could see.
Yeah. $50 for like an adapter that like lets you play like, because that would be cool for Saturn, right? To use like your real Saturn controllers, that would be dope.
Yeah,
so you could use your 3D controller or whatever.
Right.
Fight sticks. It would open up a whole world of sticks too, which would be cool.
Yeah. Or even Neo Geo CD. I'd imagine that'd be kind of I don't know. I'm not a technician, so. We don't know how well that would work out. So,
Bocop says that this is why he switched his module pre-order to Sega, just to use the controller port, 6-button controllers and 32X support. What did you have before? Yeah. Which module were you only planning to get?
Curious.
Me too. 32X support was damn impressive, says Reluctant Hero. Yeah, it was pretty impressive to just be able to. You don't even need the 32X. You just pop in the carts and bam.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was cool as shit. Like, because I was like, oh, cool, they're all region free, and then I forgot completely in my first video that it supports 32X. It's like, goddamn, it's not only just region free for that, it's also the 32X region free.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
that's another thing too that people don't consider. That's in your video. Is you're talking about the region things. The region things is very important too, because like you can't fucking play like your Mega Drive games, without a bunch of drama on your US Genesis, or like adapters or whatever, or EverDrives or all that other stuff, right? It's not easy. It's not intuitive to play your import games. Super Nintendo is kind of easy, but it's still a lot of trouble, right? Like
there's a lot of people that make reproduction carts of translated Japanese games. That's Super Nintendo has a large community of people.
But that's cool that they're adding those now to the databases, like recognized games. That's awesome. Bocop says that he had the Turbo one and he changed it for the Genesis.
Ooh.
Blasphemous. Sacrilege. Defector. Yeah. He defected to the Sega side. Why not all of them? I would have gotten both. Just get both of them. I know you're a big
that's another
PC
question.
Engine guy. He likes PC Engine.
And
Turbo stuff.
What modules did you? Because some people, there's like a small subset that like, I want all the modules. I was just like, oh man.
You did? At first, I did not. I pre-ordered the unit with the one module, because that was like the deal, right? Is like I pre-ordered the PC Engine one, of course, with the polymega, because at the time that's all I could afford. It came up to like $400, I think, with everything, with the module and the shipping. So it came up to about $400 for the unit, because I got it for $299, and then I got the units because they were doing the units for like 40 or $50 or whatever.
They were 60 for the modules each or something.
Yeah, well, because they were cheaper before, weren't they? How much? Oh yeah, they were 60. You're right. They were 60, and after it came up to like $400 after the shipping. I paid like $410 or something, or $405. I don't remember. It was around $400. But then when they said that they were going to get more expensive, when they went to retail, then I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna buy them all," and I bought them all.
Yeah,
at that point, because I was already streaming the polymega, so I already had a huge boner for it. So at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just pre-order the rest of them at $60 a pop, versus $80 a pop plus tax or whatever after the fact. So that's when I pre-ordered the other three. I wonder how they're gonna ship them though. They're probably not gonna ship them together. They're probably gonna get the turbo by itself and then the other three, because I didn't tell them to like consolidate my order. So I don't know how that's gonna work.
Yeah,
we shall see.
What was that was another thing I just realized too. If the system gets hacked, that could affect module sales as well. But again, to emphasize, this is a subsect of people, because again, a lot of the people that are getting the polymega are not going to hack this thing. So at least I would think so. So yeah.
I'm probably not. I'm not really that interested in hacking it, because I mean, like, look at my library, right? Like, I'm not really interested in the hacking aspect of it.
Again, if they make it so it just literally looks interchangeable to the current user interface, and not only that, it's just filling in the gaps of certain things. Like, here's the thing. I'll, like, when I make my like emulator sets, like my Mister for instance, there's a couple of Nintendo games that I like, but I'll get like the base line of Nintendo games that everyone knows. Doesn't mean I'm going to go play it, but I know that I'll have guests over. I know that guests will like things that I'm not like either crazy about, or I'm just like, yeah, it's okay. So that's how I do with any kind of my retro setup. So I already am not committed to buy a NES module for the polymega. So if it's hackable and I'm able to put NES games, I will, but I never plan on buying the NES module anyway. Even if the hacking was possible or wasn't possible, I still wouldn't have bought the NES module.
I did, even though I had very few NES games. I have more Famicom games, and that's kind of what upsets me, is that right now there's no Famicom support. So I'm like, they better fix that shit somewhere or another.
To be honest, like, I'm trying to think, because I surprised some people when I made my Mister video, when I said that I'm more crazy about the Super Nintendo than the regular Nintendo. I'd say the ones that I like, or the ones that I would like to play, Mario 3. 1 is too primitive for me. I think it's great and it started everything, but 2 is just a remade game. Like, they took like some other game and then they put a Mario skin on it and then released it to America. And it's fun, but again, I think 3 is the best of the Mario games. Contra kicks ass. Double Dragon 2, Ninja Gaiden, River City Ransom might be one of my favorite Super Nintendo or regular Nintendo games.
Yeah, that's a great one. Great one. So there's a couple questions. One of them is for you, Cat Pat. The first one is, does the polymega, these are both from Pabst, he says, does the polymega come with a cool case, or do they just sit awkwardly on your counter? I don't think they come in really nice boxes, but I don't think they have like an actual like case that you could put them in. But that is a really good idea that maybe somebody should let Playmaji know. That might be a good thing to do. The other question for you, Cat Pat, was, how do you feel about the lack of save features on the Mister? Asks Pat.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying, is that, like, when I'm playing Contra, on the one hand, it's very responsive, and I'm back to Cat Lap again. Hey, buddy, I don't want you... hold on.
Oh, it's a meow. He's cute. He says, we want to see him.
Oh my
God, Look at him, you guys. He's a cat. Oh my gosh, he's fat. He's a fatty kitty. Or is he just really fluffy?
He's a fluffer.
He's
anyway,
shy.
So on one hand,
it's cat time. Everyone, shut up.
This guy's a big fucking baby. Anyway,
oh my god, he's so cute. Oh. Yeah. All right, show's over. It's cat time.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's cat time.
With the save states, on one hand, you've got responsive reaction times in Contra, which is like, okay, cool. On the other hand, Contra 3 is hard as fucking balls. So it's like, by having save states, let's say you like kind of save state your way through the levels.
Yeah.
But let's say you do it like scarcely, not like every 2 seconds when you're making good hits, because then you don't learn anything. So you do it in sections, like checkpoints, kind of a thing. So that way you can learn to conquer the level by this section fucks me up. Let's see how many times it'll take for me to get through it, no problem. So you conquer it, then you move on to the next one. So then if you were to go back to the original cart or FPGA, you'll just breeze right through it because you know all the enemy patterns. Things like that.
Not like every time you die, right? Like you're going to use it. I died, I'm going to use it instantly.
Yeah, so... But, I got to say, it does put it...
too,
it does put a damp on things for me. I will say, if I'd play something like Chrono Trigger on the Mister or Mario RPG, it should be fine. Those games have plenty of save points that I'm not even concerned. I will say the lack of save states, it hits me a little bit. But for arcade games like Neo Geo, not a problem. You've got all those credits and everything.
Yeah.
So the other one, too, is that I was actually surprised. There's actually some Capcom games, the Capcom side-scrollers, the Three Wonders, or Ghosts and Ghouls, or Ghosts and Goblins, or whatever.
Three Wonders.
Yeah, Three Wonders is cute. I don't know, and it's very artistic, and it's very. I was surprised how detailed it was for CPS1.
I played the shit out of that in the arcade.
Yeah, CPS1 has fantastic. The Mister supports CPS1, and then they're going to tackle CPS2, which I'm very excited for that. But anyway, yeah, Three Wonders is killer. But once you can put as many credits as you want in that game, but like the problem is that once you die after like 3 tries or whatever, you're still starting at the beginning of the level. It's not like Metal Slug, where you can just keep dumping. So you're still forced to do that unless you have save states. So, but yeah, it's weird to me. It's a little weird not having save states, but you're getting a entirely different beast, as I said previously, with the Mister. So yep.
Well, at this point, do we want to do pickups? Or are we not doing that because we're doing this live? Or
well, my pickup is the Mister. that thing was like $400. I might have something else as well. Actually, I could do a shout out to this one guy. Give me 1 second here.
Okay. I don't really have a lot. I had a couple things. Only really a couple things that were retro.
So I think this Etsy seller is called Item Block, but very cool idea. So you're collecting Super Nintendo games, and you're like, man, I want this all in the case. But the case included makes the game way too fucking expensive if I'm buying it on eBay. So it's not exactly just a reproduction cart, or a reproduction box, I should say. This box right here is made by a guy. What's great about this box, it's literally the size of a cart, and it's like $7.50 each, and they're all high res. This one in particular, I noticed that the font was a little low res compared to my Mystical Ninja one. I got a hold of him, and he said, you know what? That one always looked kind of weird. Let me upscale that for you. Sent me a brand new one for free. So I think that guy's name's Item Block. So if you want some cases for your Super Nintendo games, this is a cool little thing, and it's very inexpensive.
Does he do Famicom?
He might. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
What's his name?
I believe it's I. You know what? I got my phone right here, so I could just look it up right now.
That's pretty cool.
Let me. Yeah, it's a neat little thing. Let's go to Etsy here.
Steve Stacy, yes, FX Unit Yuki will be available on the Polymega as a download. It'll be an slightly modified version specifically for the Polymega, so it'll be like the Polymega store version of
yep, it's
FX Unit Yuki.
It's called Item Block Etsy, and they sell for $7.50 each. So I could take a quick look at their catalog. But yeah, that's a really, really neat idea. No, it just looks like they're sticking to that, but you know, it's really neat that they're doing that.
Yeah, I think I found. Do they make dust covers? Is that them?
I'm not sure. They might. They've got other stuff as well.
Item Block Shop.
Yep. Because again, you know, I would love to have all the manual and the box and all that shit, but it's just like, you know, because I actually plan on getting 3 more because I need some for my for Donkey Kong 2 and 3 and Contra 3, and I'm gonna put. I felt like my setup here was a little naked right here, so I was gonna put like 5 of them right here to make it look nice on the desk.
So. That's cool. That is cool. And then your Mister.
So yeah, my Mister right here as well. So
yep. I only have a couple things. I have new Neo. Oh shit! Where's my camera? It's over here. Neo Geo CD game Baseball Stars. This was actually a gift from one of our viewers. Sent me this because he knows that I collect Neo Geo CDs, and this is one of the ones that I was missing. I had part 2, but I didn't have part 1, so he gave me that. So now I'm like literally like 5 games away to a complete collection. And
your viewers rule.
Yeah, and the other thing, he gave us his mother too. He gave this to Jesse.
Oh fuck yeah, dude!
Yeah, but we can patch this now, which is cool.
Yeah, I've got that copy as well. So I've got Mother 2 hanging up over here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that they do have a Japanese translation for that, and that what's funny is like, oh, so they're just going to copy and paste from the English cart. No, not quite. I've got a whole book about the translation of Mother 2 to Earthbound, and there's a lot of Japanese references that would have made no sense to us. They had to change some like sprite work. So what you're getting is essentially the Japanese translation as opposed to the
westernized.
Correct. Not that it's a problem, because everyone still loves Earthbound for what it is.
Yep.
It's just localization. That's the word I was looking for. Localization. Yep. So this is more of a accurate translation, and Earthbound is a damn good localization. So let's just put it like that.
That's cool, though. It's cool I'll be able to patch it.
Yeah. I think they did the same thing for Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger. So if that's the case, yeah, you know.
I need to find the Chrono Trigger one, because I downloaded one and it didn't work. So I'm assuming that the version I have isn't compatible with whatever patch I got, because the patches are usually made for like specific versions. So I'm assuming my cart is not the right version
for that patch. That's with beta 2?
Yeah, because that really comes down to which what patch was made for what version. So if it's like version 1.2 of the cart and the patch is made for like version 1.0, then the patch is essentially not going to work. It has to match. So
and then if you look that up on Etsy, it's not like anyone's going to fucking know anyway. Or not Etsy, eBay.
Yeah, on eBay.
So like even if you try to find that, there's no way.
That version, yeah, it's not going to be like, why did version 1.1? You know, it's
right.
Pretty much
you're like taking a gamble
out.
At that point.
But most of the time it's like made for like one version, but there are instances like games that were reproduced like crazy, right? Like Chrono Trigger is one of those games that had I think like 3 iterations of it. Final Fantasy had more than 1 iteration. Yeah. So hopefully, but now a lot of the reproductions are starting to work on the Polymega too. So it's exciting.
It's like $20-$30 for a lot of these too. So whatever. Yeah. So you any other pickups you had?
Well, the other one's not a retro pickup, but of course we got Mario because everyone got Mario. But
Gotta
the other
have
thing
Mario.
was Cyveriar. This was also a gift from JT and the Saru crew. He gave us this copy of Cyveriar, which is cool because I was
That's nice.
actually wanting to get this. So now I got it. It's a shmuppy.
Right on.
Shmuppy doo. That's it though. That is
Okay.
all.
Well, I think I might have something else. I don't know. I know I'm trying to think. So there's the Mister, there's the item block thing. I swear, I got another reproduction box from that last guy for that Goemon 3 cart that I had because I did Goemon 2. Gosh, I gotta have something. I don't know.
Was that a
Maybe
different?
we can.
You were still showing me that reproduction box that you had. Was that a different person that made that one? Remember? You were
Yes, that was a
telling me?
different person.
Oh, okay.
And I still didn't give you that person's name either.
I forgot to ask you about it.
What's that?
I forgot to ask you about it because we were talking about it on the
Yeah.
video, but you didn't want to like dispel it on the video, right?
Yeah, because I didn't want him to get in trouble.
Or whatever.
Yeah, I can't imagine this guy getting in trouble for it because it's like a tiny little thing, and I don't know. It's his own thing.
Yeah,
So
you can just shoot it to me on Twitter.
yeah,
On the
I could do
Twitters,
that.
when you remember, Pap says Saru does have the best viewers. I do. You guys are all awesome.
Yes.
By the way, guys, if you guys aren't subscribed to Cat Pat, most of you have been watching, but if you haven't, please go and subscribe to his channel. If someone can drop his link, maybe one of the moderators, if you guys can drop Cat Pat's link, that would be awesome. Normally I would, but I have OBS taking up one of my screens and Discord taking up the other, and I can't move it. Otherwise, Cat Pat's face will explode. We don't want that. We need to be
What was if you watch my videos, I'd recommend if you're interested in the polymega, obviously watch 1 and 2. Because 2 is a follow-up to essentially the criticisms and also showing the other alternatives.
There we go.
Because I want to be transparent as possible. And then another one's just a quick value video. But I will say, if you want to venture further, this one hasn't been getting a lot of love. And it's not that it's getting hate. People like it, but it hasn't been getting as much as attention. And I decided to cover it because it is retro-based, but it was made in 2019, I believe, when it was released. Didn't want a Katana Zero. I was told by a good friend of mine that that's probably my best edited one. Check that one out. Give it some love if you can. If you like it. I'm not going to force you to. I just...
Go watch the video!
Sure what's that?
I was just saying, go watch that video now.
Yeah.
Paps just posted the link to Cat Pat's channel, so make sure to click on that link if you're not subscribed to Cat Pat. Go ahead and do so.
I'm almost at 300. I'm very surprised. It's been a steady incline, and it makes me happy that these guys actually, enjoy my content. Makes me feel pretty good. I'm sure you feel pretty good about that with your subscriber base as well.
Very cool. And Superboo just posted it again, I think. Yeah, he did. So make sure to click on that link, you guys. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Let's get Cat Pat to 300.
Yeah,
he's so close.
Thank you. But yeah, that's actually one thing I wanted to mention too. With when I was bringing up Victor Lucas and how he's seen me around, again, how nice that was. But not only that.
Everyone posted your channel link, like 4 people.
That's amazing. But not only that, I was thinking there's something to that, because what I do when I want to look up some more polymega news is I'll go on YouTube, type polymega in, and I'll put the filter onto the last week so I could see anything that's new. And there's other people that are apparently doing the same thing. When people type in polymega and they're like searching a little bit, eventually my name does pop up. So that's nice to see it's a little surreal. I mean, it's not like I'm the top one or anything, but it's pretty cool to see that. That makes me happy.
Let's see what happens. I never just search for terms like that. Let me see. Let's see what happens if I search polymega. Polymega, we get Metal Jesus, of course.
Is this just typing it in as is without any filter settings?
Yeah, I just typed in
Yeah.
just whoops, camera's over here. Just polymega. Metal Jesus comes up first.
Of course. MVG shows up eventually.
And you were just talking about him. He's
MVG
Digital
rules.
Playground is next, and then our polycast. Polycast is third.
Yeah,
third
I don't know
results.
if that's a bias to your algorithm thing, because I thought I
Oh,
saw mine
is that what it is?
being. It could be,
Oh, well,
because I
shit.
saw my video being third months ago, and then I searched it on a different account, and it was a little bit lower than that. So,
well,
it could be that. So I
I
have
felt
no
good
idea.
about myself for like a minute. And then
I did too.
shattered
So
my- you shattered
sorry
my
to
dreams.
burst your bubble.
Oh well.
Bubble, I should say. But yeah, it seems like people are always digging for more of this content. So this is great that we're doing the polycast, because we're actually offering something like this. You know what I'm curious is how long we're going to be doing this, because eventually it's going to come out.
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk about it. And then,
Will people care
I wonder.
anymore? I hope so, because I enjoy them.
What's that?
I said, are people even going to care anymore what we have to say about it if it's already out? You know what I mean? It's like,
Well, I'm sure it'll be fine.
I would still like
for
to.
a little bit. What's that?
I would still like to.
Oh, I'm not going to say no. I'm done. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm
Yeah, because
enjoying
then
the
you'll
polycast-
have
the
one too,
polycast
so
format.
it'll be.
What's that?
You'll have one too, so it'll be different. at
You
that
know,
point
it would
as
be
well.
really dope. And this is getting way ahead of myself.
I think we can
It's-
still do them, because then we can actually make them like specific to like certain things. Because then we'll both have it, and we can go through things
Yeah.
together, right? Like patches,
Right.
You know.
And if I've
certain
got my
games.
monitor right here, I could show you like certain things if I really wanted to
Yeah.
as well. But another thing I was going to say, and I'm getting way ahead of myself here, but I would imagine that once this releases, that Brian is going to be a little bit more open to the public. So maybe we can get Brian as a guest, and that's getting really ahead of myself.
I've been trying. He does. He doesn't. I guess he does it like he'll do the whole spiel in person, but he's not like super like enthused about doing it. Especially not like, because like I do really long format stuff, where like my lives are always like 3 hours long. So
Sure.
I
And we
know
don't have
that-
to make it that long,
Yeah, like he can just
whatever
show up
makes
for
the
like
guest
10
feel
minutes and
comfortable.
he's like, "Hey, I'm here. Okay, bye." Like he doesn't have to be where
Yeah.
like he's here for the whole 3 hours.
Yeah, and another thing too is, I could see that. But I think he will stand out for, and this is no offense to you or myself, really, but I think he will come out when it's like someone like Metal Jesus, Retro RGB, and MVG, because they are
Sure.
definitely the top most retro enthused YouTubers and influencers.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Mhm.
The fact that he talked to Retro RGB and Victor Lucas, has had a show on cable television
Right.
known as EPN, and now it's a YouTube channel continuing that legacy. I mean, if you don't know this guy, chances are you've seen him when you were younger.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes sense. So,
Yep. A lot of people know who he is. Everybody knows who Metal Jesus is. So it makes sense, right? That
Right.
These bigger channels, he's gonna make the time for them because, they're asking. So
right.
I don't know. But maybe we can get him
and
to come on for
I'm
5
also
minutes.
afraid that like I could ask a question that he wouldn't be super pumped about. not that I would do it intentionally, like
Yep.
like yeah, not that I would do it intentionally. There's no way. I don't think he would. Yeah, you get my point. At least I think you do. But
Yeah.
I mean, because you're a business, and so you got to have an image.
Right.
So there's certain things you're not going to want to answer.
Yeah.
So, not that I was going to ask like, what are your profit? Or I'm not going to do that. Like, but
what is your stake?
Right.
This whole thing. But anyway, we're nearing. Where are we at? 2 hours and 48 minutes. We're nearing that time. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to talk about before before we
Yeah,
end it. But we're getting close.
I don't know, but baseline is that, you know, and this seems to be the moral of story about most of the things that we talk about. A being enjoy the consoles the way you want to, and B, literally everyone knows that Raspberry Pis exist. If yeah, you get it. So I don't know. You know, everyone has their preferences, guys, and you should just do what makes you happy. That's it. We all played Chrono Trigger. We all played Final Fantasy. We all played Donkey Kong Country, and it all kicks ass. So
Play
does it really matter?
Play the games how you want to play them.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as you're playing games.
So, as Victor Lucas says, play forever. So.
Yep. And some people are saying that we could make videos playing the polymega. Well, I play the polymega shit tons. I play it every week.
Right.
So he might be new to the channel. But
yeah, I had a idea, but I don't know how well it'd be implemented for the polymega because I already like it as is. But I think it would be dope as hell if they could find a way to stream an image of like okay, let me back up. What if they did online multiplayer? And the way you would do it is stream player one's image onto player two's television. So that way, if you're playing a multiplayer game, it's being streamed to. I mean, latency might be an issue and lags. Yeah. I don't know, but I don't know. Like, it just, I don't know. I doubt they could do it or want to. But I think the biggest thing is that I don't think anyone's going to care that much because we've discussed this earlier. Couch co-op is dead. Yep. And if this is about retro gaming in its purest sense, then it probably isn't going to matter with online multiplayer.
Yeah, that's what people are going to want is to bring back couch co-op with this sort of thing. Yep. But I mean, that would be cool though, is remote play, multiplayer remote play like that. I don't know that they would really put the resources behind something like that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
When there's no real return for that, but it would be cool.
Yeah.
If that was a thing. I guess it just depends on how they marketed that sort of feature too.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows?
Would be cool though.
It was just a thought I had. So sometimes I like to throw things out there. So it's just like, oh, that's a good idea. Or no, Patrick, that was stupid and you should feel bad. Okay, goddamn.
Is that one of those things like where you're like thinking about something and then when it comes out of your mouth, you're like, you know what? Now that I think about it.
Yeah, this sounded better in my head.
Yeah.
Now I just sound like a dumbass.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I guess we're probably nearing the end. I could just keep talking forever because I'm a motor mouth, so
I know.
You might as well end it while you can. I'll just keep talking.
But let's take a quick look at the chat, just really quick here. Sure. Make sure no one asks anything. We're like, bye, okay, laters. No, it doesn't look like everyone's just pretty much talking to themselves. Everyone is saying though that the polycast is the third thing that shows up for them.
Oh,
when they show it, so that's pretty awesome. So maybe we should keep doing polycast even after.
Yeah, you know, and I know we could find certain things to talk about it. You know,
for Cat
there could.
Huh?
He shows up as 8 as well on the list.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
For Jesse said that you showed up at the top of the list as well.
Oh, goddamn, that's awesome.
Polymega, so that's cool.
Yeah, that makes me happy. Just looking at some of these things.
Couch Co-op is not dead. I still play with my little brother.
Someone, I don't know if she was mad or she was just putting her opinion, but she said save states are not cheating, just playing the game without drove memorization. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a middle ground to it. You know, if you're like, let's say because I did this with Castlevania 4. I played the real version, by the way, but when I played an emulated version of it, I just completed the level and then I get to the boss and the boss kills me. Do I really need to play through the entire level to get to that boss?
Yeah,
I really
see,
don't
that's the thing too. So, it's like I've already experienced it.
And so now think of it this way: you put the save state there, and then you're fighting the boss. Don't keep on doing the save states when you're chipping away. You don't learn the boss's patterns when you do that.
Right.
So
So what happens is, you keep on dying, you keep loading that save state. You start just getting better and better as you keep trying to the point where you've got it fucking down. So again, if you went back to hardware at that point, you'll be like relatively fine because you just learned that at a quicker pace as opposed to retrying the level 500 fucking times.
Right.
So that's where I'm like, that's prime. I enjoy that. Again, just getting a good hit and then save state every 2 seconds, that's cheating. There's only one time that I've done that, and it was over an achievement for PlayStation Trophy. It was for Street Fighter 2, and people will definitely know this who have played Street Fighter 2. Guile's fucking flash kick. You don't have... You know how you have to charge it down for 2 seconds and then go up to do this flash kick?
Yep.
The computer doesn't have to do that.
Instant.
If you jump, he'll just fucking instantly do... That's horseshit. And I will totally defend doing save states doing that, because that is bullshit. And it makes me angry.
You just gotta get good.
Dude, even with save states, it took me a while.
Good.
I will get... I do not care of getting good at that kind of bullshit. So
I was taking a quick look at the comments for our last video, see if anybody had... Sometimes people will ask questions, but there weren't. It was just positive comments. A couple people upset.
So maybe I should say this. Hey guys, if you've got any comments, do it now so we can get some in, and then that way we don't leave you hanging. So.
Yeah, that's true. So we, because we did that with the first one, people asked questions and we answered them on the second one. But on the second one, there wasn't really any questions. It was mostly someone asked if I was on Riddick or Reggie's channel, and that was the only question. All the other ones were positive comments saying that A+ for talking about Chrono Cross. That was about Cat Pat last week. Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
Thanks and thank you, thanks, and of course thanks. Says several severed legs. Naveed, who was in the chat earlier.
Severed Legs is he follows me on Twitter.
Oh, does he?
Oh, that's another thing, guys. If you have a Twitter, please follow me.
What is it?
Again,
Cat Pat is Pat. Pat?
It's Cat Pat is Pat Cat. So yes, please, because and I'm not saying that just because I just want more people. I usually when I'm editing videos, I'll give you quick little updates on my process. So if you want to know how close is he to making next content and stuff, that's usually the place where I post that. I do have a Patreon, but I think I only have 2 patrons, which is fine. My goal, right now, I would love for this to be a career. I don't expect it to be a full-time one. If it did, that's great. Shoot for the stars, as they say, land on the moon or whatever. But if you guys like my content that much, and I like making this stuff, it's just a win-win scenario. So, and I know we're in hard times with COVID as well, but if you really like my stuff, please, that stuff helps me a lot, and anything helps. So I'm very appreciative to all my fans. It's been nice having a community of people that actually likes my content. So thank you a lot, a ton, I should say.
Yep. And
so
Jesse just posted Cat Pat's Twitter.
Thank you, Jesse.
Go ahead and click on that link and follow him on Twitters.
There's one thing I want to say too, is there's times where I've literally got like emotionally hit based on some of the comments. Big one being is already now my phone's going off. Great. But another comment I got that just really tugged at my heartstrings. There was a couple. It was your videos are so good that I don't understand why you don't have more subscribers. And it's just like, oh, that is so nice.
Well, that's because so I could relate with that. I've been doing this for some years now, right?
Yeah.
And I think my average has been not even 1,000 a year. At the rate that I've been going at. And I think it's just because retro related video game content on YouTube is just oversaturated. So people don't know that you exist. So that's basically it. People just don't know that you're there. So
So it's good that I picked the polymega to talk about, I guess. I didn't do it as a business decision. It just took my interest.
Yeah, you just
because
wanted
you're going
one.
to get the subsect of people that are also interested in that.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
But that's pretty much the only reason. The only reason why is because not because your content isn't good. It's just because it's just such an oversaturated thing to talk about on YouTube.
Yeah, and another thing too is that oh God, what was I gonna say? Ah, shit, it's gone. Damn it! It was something related to that. Oh, you know, I'm not going to sit here and get bitter, like, you know, because when someone said that, it's like, yeah, why don't I have that many? Like, I'm not going to get that way. I'm not going to get bitter and jaded over it, you know. But I took that as a compliment because it's like, wow, someone really believes in my content. Holy shit. There's a lot of things that should happen in life that doesn't happen. So whatever.
Yeah.
You know? I think having that expectation just makes you kind of more of an angry person, and that's the last thing.
Yeah,
you need to be.
like,
but
and you just do what you do for fun. Dude, I work so hard. I sleep so little. Like I am constantly. I never have any real leisure time. All of my game time is done online on stream. I don't have personal game time. All of my game time is done live. I am so busy, but like the return I feel like is not really what someone who is as busy as me should probably be. But I don't really think about it in that sense. I think about it as I'm just enjoying what I'm doing anyway.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like my content, there's a lot of people who, I don't know, I don't want to say that the YouTube landscape is unfair, but I feel like sometimes people hit that algorithm lottery. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like I work so much harder than so many other content creators out there.
Yeah.
And if I dwell on that, then I feel
you're
like
gonna get angry.
I'm gonna get angry. So I don't. I choose not to, and I just do my thing, and I enjoy it. I have fun. I have fun doing it, and the biggest reward is not the views. And I think I said that on your Twitter. The biggest reward is not the views; it's the people that you're gonna meet along the way. That's the biggest reward. Because what's the whole point? Yeah, sure. Okay, you have 65,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, you know, but you don't fucking know any of them, you know, or you've grown so fast that you've become so detached. You're like this, like, I don't know. I would prefer not to be like that. I like the fact that my growth has been as slow as it is because I've gotten to meet a lot of great people personally. Growing like that. So don't fret over like not growing quickly. Because you keep doing what you're doing, and you'll meet people. You'll meet people who are cool, and you'll meet people who will help you too, as well.
That's including you. You helped me quite a bit. You know,
well, I mean,
we
have this whole dynamic, so it kind of just works out, you know, right? When we're
doing our
lives.
And the other thing too is, you know, if I didn't make that video, I was thinking about this too. On my personal Facebook, you know, and I was sharing my success with the views I was getting because it was a big deal because that was what made me, you know, grow. I was saying, you know what's funny is, you know, you think about these projects and you're like, I don't know if I have the energy for it. And then but then I'm like, so imagine, so you can sit here like, oh, I don't have the energy for that. But you know what's a scarier thought? You doing nothing. Like it's like, let me back up. What's a scarier thought is that imagine if I didn't make this video. And I didn't get to talk to Brian Burnell, and I didn't get to have this podcast with you, and I didn't get to make the friends that I have through my content. Knowing, you know, that kind of success after doing it just makes you want to, and whether it's big or small, makes you want to keep on going.
Yeah, keep on doing it.
So the scarier thought is, what if I didn't fucking do any of that?
Yeah, then you don't.
None of these opportunities.
You don't mean nobody. You know, shit doesn't happen. You just gotta do it.
You know, my life would go as is, and I'd probably be fine. But this is much more rewarding. It's just a scary thought to be like, I could just do nothing, and then you should think of the consequences of doing nothing. Because honestly, for me liking video games as much as I do, it's been hard for me to sit down and play one.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I'm solving a couple problems by doing this, by having this as an outlet. One is, as you said, with your only game time is with these streams.
Yep.
That's exactly it. So if I'm making this, let's say, it becomes viable where I'm making, side gig money from doing this, right?
Yep.
I am now paid to do my hobby, and I have to do the hobby in order to get paid. So I'm melding together work and fun, or things I like to do. So, because usually it's work and then I get to go do fun. So that is literally utilizing your time. That's the ultimate trick, really, that I'm trying to figure out. Even when it comes to views, it's like I knew it would be hard, and I've known it would be hard to get more subscribers and things like that.
Yeah.
So the trick really is, as you said, it's oversaturated. There's all these odds of ends, all these things that are pushed against you. The trick is to figure out how to get yourself to reach. You could make the most amazing video fucking ever. Won't matter if no one knows who you are. So.
It's true.
Yeah. Sorry for all of that.
No, it's all. It's true. It's all true. It is a grind. To try to get up there, but like if you just don't have the mentality of this is what, it's nice to have like a goal, but like the main thing is that you're having fun doing it. Is really what the main thing is. And once you stop having fun doing it, then maybe it's not worth doing anymore. And that's the way I see it. And I have a ton of fun. I have discovered that I used to do a lot of small videos, right? I enjoy live streaming. It's become just a hangout with friends now. Now it's just I'm playing video games with friends now. And that's why and I used to be like anti live stream. I didn't really like it. And now I do it almost exclusively, is where I'm just like doing live streams and people just come and they hang out and everyone is just talking about games. So now it's become where I just live stream and I'm just hanging out with friends talking about video games. And I tried live streaming. I have fun.
And I tried live streaming prior to my YouTube success, and it's miserable because you have no one to bounce off of in the chat. But so it's like, oh, this is dumb. But then when I did my I didn't even make an announcement for my Raspberry, or not my Raspberry Pi, Jesus Christ, the Mister video. I said maybe I'll, I'm thinking about doing a video, and I'm like, yeah, let's just do it tonight. And I had that group of people that watch me just join in. It was a hangout. They got to watch me struggle and all that kind of stuff, and it's fun doing things with company. It just is. So
yeah, and it's fun. It becomes fun. And it's weird because I think I've gotten, once I started actually just doing like live streams on the regular, I started getting more subscribers, which was completely the opposite of what I thought was going to happen. I thought if I create it works different for different people. Different people make different kind of content. They get attention for their produced videos. With my streams, people just want to come and hang out, and I enjoy that. And even if I don't get a whole lot of views, it doesn't really matter because I still had the fun just doing the live stream and talking about video games, man. It's like my favorite thing. Video games is like my favorite thing. So I enjoy it.
And there's a lot to talk about that stuff because again, just that's what probably makes these polymega casts bearable too, because it's not just like, all right, we're going to talk about the text and the specs and the processing power on this. It's not just the dry stuff that it can do. It's just, not only is it the polymega, as we're also talking about the big fucking history of tons of video games. So it never ends really.
So the Bad Company says he was on your Mr. stream.
I saw that comment. Thank you for participating. Again, it's very nice because I made this video about the polymega, so I'm getting the polymega crowd. The fact that they can still watch the Mr. stream and they're not just sticking their nose up like, oh, I'm on T polymega, fuck this. Again, that's the funny thing too. I feel like a lot of people that like the polymega are like, yeah, man, you do what you want, and then everyone else is like, no, you gotta like this, and it's like, can I like all of it? No, you gotta pick a side. It's like, Jesus Christ, didn't know this was politics. So like, it's just goofy.
Yep, it's like different parties So
Yeah.
Pap says also great advice is to be yourself. People will love that more than some shtick. Also, it's less
Yeah.
exhausting being yourself than being what people want you to be. That is number one.
Yeah,
100%
I believe that.
true.
And I'm
Because I
glad
could
people
not
that like
imagine if like I had to like put up like a character or whatever and do fuck that.
No,
Like
exactly.
that would be so hard.
That just seems like more work than what it's worth.
I could not
and not-
stream for 5 times a week if that was the case. You know what I mean? Like how
Yeah.
tiring would that be? That'd be so tiring. I'm already
Yeah.
fucking tired all the time, and that would make it
Yeah.
so much worse.
That's the other thing too. I was
Because then
thinking
how do you
about,
get out of that, right? Like once you start, you're like, oh, I'm,
Yeah.
you know, like the internet asshole or whatever, the ultimate game douche or whatever
yeah,
YouTube name.
the slightly agitated retro nerd gamer. It's like an off-brand version of the angry video game nerd or something like that. Yeah. Like, oh my god. Yeah, you know, but one thing I wanted to say, shit, I kept on forgetting it and then remembering it. Oh yeah, I have one YouTube pet peeve. You click on a video, you're like, oh, this is interesting, and they immediately tell you to like and subscribe, and it's like
right off
no,
the bat. Yeah.
you didn't earn that right. I have to watch your content to dictate if I want to do that. But
before we get into the video, make sure you like and subscribe and ring the bell and tell all your friends, or we're gonna kill all your hamsters.
Yeah, it's like no, sorry, gotta earn that.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I don't like it like right off the bat. Shit, I don't even tell people to subscribe during my lives.
Yeah,
you know, it does help. So subscribe. But yeah, you know, like I forget to all the time.
I do at the end, but I always say like, hey, if you like the video, like, subscribe and all that generic YouTube stuff, because I want to point out by me saying generic that it's just like, yes, I know, blah blah blah, but it helps because I don't know. Yeah, it's good to differentiate yourself. But going back on that viability with YouTube, you know, I could see there probably is a better way to make this monetizable somewhere, but or it doesn't exist yet. But you know, it could get to that point. YouTube isn't super viable with that stuff. But you know, it's a fool's errand we're doing right now. But again, if you're doing it just for the fun, then it doesn't really matter. However, you know, I just wonder. I sometimes I really wish they just made another platform, and by they I don't know who I'm referring to. And it's, you know, when Google bought YouTube wasn't making much money, and Google has been losing money on YouTube for a while,
for a long time.
So if not still even now, and they just up the ads on the videos, and it's like you're trying so hard to get me to pay for YouTube Red or whatever.
Red, yeah.
And I'm not going to do it. And the reason I'm not going to do it is because there's already enough problems with the platform as it is. I'm not going to give money to that. I'm glad that I have a voice, but it's within limitations.
I almost signed up for YouTube Red. I was so close because it was the only place I could watch Cobra Kai.
Right.
Cobra Kai was the only reason I would have subscribed to YouTube Red. And I was so close to doing it, and then they fucking put it on Netflix. So fuck you, YouTube.
Did they really?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Fuck yes, I'm gonna watch it on Netflix.
Oh, it's so good.
YouTube Red.
It's so good. I love.
Hell yeah.
I love Cobra Kai. I can freaking talk about that all day. It's so good. But yeah, I almost did YouTube Red for Cobra Kai.
Yeah. I'm looking at some of these
Vimeo says New Wave Ghost. Yeah, that's another one. BitChute was another one too that was supposed to be like a YouTube competitor type thing, but I don't know where that's at. I did put some videos on BitChute and then just kind of forgot about it, so who knows if anyone even watched them, you know, because I was like way earlier this year, so who knows. Or it's on YouTube TV streaming service, or was. That was the YouTube Red, wasn't it?
Something like that.
That's when I got YouTube Red, Cobra Kai. That was 2 years ago. I know, and everyone, all my friends were talking about it. Like, oh my god, Cobra Kai is so dope. I'm like, shut up! I want to watch it eventually. But it's on Netflix now. It's great. It's so good.
I'll have to check it out then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go through some of the comments. 'Cause it's getting, for me, it's like 1:14.
I know.
gotta work tomorrow.
Yeah,
So,
I think there aren't really. Let's see here. Somebody said, "Choose a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life." Confucius quote. But yeah, other than that, and then TG is here. Hello, TG, and Miami Sunrise. You could always go Amazon and Twitch too. Yeah, that's true. Amazon is another option if you make like content, like video content. You know, like a series of videos, like who was it? The NES Pursuit. They went to Amazon. Their videos are part of Prime. That's another way that you could do it too. Do it that way. I thought about doing something like that, but I don't have that kind of time to make produced videos. Especially not right now. I have a lot going on, but I will eventually go back to doing some more produced videos. I just can't do it now. It's just too much happening in my life.
Sure.
So at least I get to live stream.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I could see you doing pretty well on Twitch.
I don't like Twitch.
No.
I just don't like it. I don't like the format.
It seems like a baby's market, to be honest.
You know, and like
oversaturated Fortnite.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I just don't like it. I tried it. I just don't like it.
You know what's really funny is that I'm getting a large subsect of people that are subscribed, and not that I'm I'm not ageist or anything, and that's including the people I'm talking to that are they're more between their mid-30s to mid-40s more than my age, which is 28, by the way. Which is like interesting because it's like, well, I grew up playing the Super Nintendo. Like it's not that old, is it? Like, you know, I play the Nintendo as well, but I don't know. It's just interesting that a lot of the retro gamers are in that age demographic more than my age range. But when I think about it, I don't know if I know too many people my age, I guess. I think I do know a couple, but not my immediate friends.
I know more people your age than I do my age.
Really?
YouTube is the exception. YouTube, like a lot of my audience is my age range. And I think that's why I've been so gung-ho about doing the lives, is because I get to hang out with people my age. But in real life, most of my friends are all younger. I'm usually the oldest in my group of friends. Actually, I am the oldest in my group of friends. I'm the oldest one.
I was going to say that it doesn't seem like that seems to hinder our dichotomy in our conversations. For me, I'm a very curious person too, because, you know, it's just like, oh, there's Japanese Super Nintendo games, or there's some really good ones, and are they patched, and which ones are available? So, you know, I learned some weird ones like Treasure of the Rudras, and that's apparently a really damn good one. And then I hear about, you know, everyone knows this one that minorly looks up the underground SNES imports, but, you know, Seiken Densetsu 3, you know.
Yeah.
What's another one? I know there's another one I'm missing. I mean, Metal Max.
Oh, like, are we just talking about imports in general? Violinist of Hamelin's another one that people always talk about.
Yeah. By the way, I put Ys 1 through 4 on the Mister. So one day I will get to that. And 4 is translated.
Yep. And it's excellent.
Okay.
I would play 1, 2, and then 3 is kind of hard to play on the TurboGrafx CD.
Why is that?
For me, the music is great, but the scrolling gives me such a headache. Like, the scrolling is really bad on it, and it's a lot of Turbo fans say that it's blasphemous that, like, I blast it, you know, but it's not my favorite version of Ys 3. I actually like it on the Genesis more. For Ys 3.
Ys 3 was on the Genesis, huh?
Yeah, it was on Super Nintendo as well. Super Nintendo is garbage.
So they had to bit crush their music then.
Yeah. So, but it sounds good on the Genesis. Like, the chiptune music on the Genesis sounds good. On the Super Nintendo, though, it sounds like farts, and the game itself is just kind of bleh. But the Genesis one's pretty good. The Turbo CD one, like, has beautiful cutscenes, but the voice acting is so bad that you're like, you know. But Ysbook 1 and 2, Turbo CD, excellent. My favorite game. I don't know if I've mentioned it to you, but my crew knows that Ysbook 1 and 2 is my absolute favorite game of all time. acting is
Yeah.
great, music is great, cutscenes great, everything was just so good about it, especially for 1989, right? Like the
Yeah.
first time I ever played it, like I basically soiled myself. It was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
an
you're telling me about
experience.
that. That's what I meant by when I listen to like I start the game, see the Super Nintendo graphics, and then the soundtrack comes. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, and you're like, where?
It's this bombastic orchestra, dude. The beginning of that Dragon Slayer music is really good.
Dude, the beginning
Like,
of East Book 1 and 2 is crazy. Like,
yeah, that was good too.
watch that
Yeah,
intro. The music is like, and then they start talking, and it's like.
Side tangent. I don't know if anyone noticed my little Tenchi Muyo guy behind me, but they have a Tenchi. I like Tenchi Muyo. They have
there's
a
translated one, right?
I don't know if it's. I don't think it is.
Oh,
they have a
shit.
Tenchi Muyo TurboGrafx game, and I
Oh,
knew
yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't.
I thought it was
Understand
Super
it.
Nintendo one. I think is translated though.
Oh, I was talking about the TurboGrafx one.
Oh,
So
man. Yeah, I wish.
I started it because I just wanted to look at the sprites, but oh my god, the sprite and pixel work are so good in that. It's just like, oh
Yeah,
I
and
wish
you've
this
got
was-
like all the original voice acting for that one too, so it's just
Yeah.
really nice.
I really want Dragon Slayer 2 and 3 to be translated. That would be nice. Because I saw the sprite work in those and they look great. And that's
Yeah, the ones
Yeah.
I want translated that are TurboGrafx are the Xanadu games. The
Yeah, I
ones of
gotta jump
Xanadu,
into that.
1 and 2. Man,
Okay.
it's like an action RPG, right? So you have like your action RPG that's overhead, right? Like like you
Right.
kill stuff by just like killing stuff overhead, and then you actually have a side-scrolling section as well. So at first you're already into the game because it's like overhead action RPG. The music is good, the action is great, and then you get into side-scrolling stages, and you're like, "What the shit?" Like, and the side-scrolling stages are actually really good, and they play really well, and the graphics and the music are amazing. So I'm hoping they do English translations, but even if they don't, you should still check them out. It's called Kaze no Densetsu Xanadu, or the Wind of Xanadu 1 and 2. Excellent games. But
there's a lot of
Tenchi. Here's some Tenchi for you.
I love the Tenchi Muyo music.
Yeah, that's all. This is a laser disc.
Oh, holy shit! Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a big. I love laser discs too.
Oh, I want to reiterate I like the Tenchi Muyo. Is it Ryoki? Is that the
original
it's
series?
The first,
Yeah,
it's the OVA. It's the OVAs.
Yep,
I like the intro. The intro music to that is the best. I don't. So I have this bias. I'm not saying modern anime is bad because then I'll just sound like an old fart. But
but it's bad.
But anime is almost so self-aware at this point that it makes me want to barf. And this is what I mean. You get something like Cowboy Bebop, and it's like a really original intro.
Yeah.
And same thing with like Tenchi. There's no lyrics in this. And I'm not saying you can't have Japanese singing, but oh my god, they crank that shit to 12 in the new
It's
just like it starts and it's just like in your fucking face, like, hey weebs, welcome to the show, and it's like fucking just calm
Have you seen
down,
Gunsmith Cats?
I want to. The animation quality is fucking great.
Yeah, that guy's my favorite artist, but it's also like Tenchi or Cowboy Bebop. It has a really stylistic intro.
Yeah.
No vocals, all instrumental music.
Like, and again, I can listen to there was maybe it's a guilty pleasure, but with there was a Toonami
modern anime is trash.
There's a Toonami credit of Rurouni Kenshin. And it's definitely super Japanese, but the song was so good that I didn't give a shit.
Which one?
It was really catchy. I don't remember what it's called. I hate the intro to Rurouni Kenshin, by the way. It makes me feel super I'm not trying to be like I'm this look at me. I'm not the epitome of masculinity or anything, but the intro is so effeminate. Where I love the show, but if my dad walked into me starting that show in that party, be like, what the fuck
are you watching, pansy?
I'd be like, I'm sorry, this is quite embarrassing. I would rather switch to porn to explain that as opposed to the intro of that show.
Yeah.
So Yeah, just like that'd be easier to explain than that. So
I guess I feel nostalgic. I don't really like Rurouni Kenshin as a series, but I had the PS1 game when I was 16, and so that was the intro, and so I kind of have like nostalgia for that intro. But I didn't really watch the show, but the intro is still nostalgic. It's not my favorite intro, but like it's one of those things that I listen to, and I remember back to when I was 16 years old playing Hong Kong bootlegs on my PlayStation. So I got fond memories, but I can understand, that super high pitched like singing.
It's just in your fucking face so hard, and it's like they know who they're catering, and I guess good on them. But it's like, if I don't know, man, it's just too much. But
Alucard saying there's some decent modern anime, but most of it isn't popular. But most of the stuff I like isn't popular anyway. Yeah, there's like some like new stuff that I like. I'll give you one. Not a whole lot.
It's a movie, and I think you would like it. Did you watch Redline?
No.
Redline kicks so much fucking ass. It's unreal. Redline feels like I think manga actually published it, the manga video publisher, but Redline is like, hey, did you like your old school otakus, but you want to see it in modern day flares? Like otaku video, like Ghost in the Shell and fucking like, I'm not saying it's like that, but it's got that grit with like that really gritty manga, published 90s published anime movies and OVAs and whatever. It's like that with modern day visuals. It's like F-Zero was like a rated R racing movie. It fucking rules. So
I'll have to check it out. Redline.
Huh? Yeah, it's super cheap on Amazon. So I think it's like $12-15. Just fucking buy it, dude. It rules. But
check it out. I'm a bigger fan of like old stuff, but there are some like new stuff that I watch. Like,
no, that's why I brought up Redline. Like I know I could, like my friend who just shits on anime all day because he makes jokes. It's just like, yeah, I'd like anime if I was like into 14-year-old anime girls. And it's like, okay, but which I get it. It's like, yeah, anime's great if you're a pedo. It's like, okay, all right, whatever. Man. But he likes Akira and he likes Ghost in the Shell, so he's there with that old stuff.
Yep.
But I know if I sat him down to watch Redline, he'd enjoy it quite a bit. So that's how confident I am in Redline, tailoring not only to new demographics but certainly older demographics as well.
Yeah.
So that's a solid.
That's
one.
cool. There's still animes that like go back to like those kind of like feels from those eras.
Yeah,
it doesn't really happen a whole lot though.
There's a lot of old ones I want to go back to. I own Paddle-Labor, the OVAs, and I still haven't watched it.
Great. Paddle-Labor's good stuff. Yeah. Naveed mentioned all the Satoshi Kon stuff is great. Satoshi Kon, do you know who he is?
Yes, I've seen Perfect Blue, which is again to that gritty manga stuff.
I got to see that again in the theaters. I was so excited.
I own Paprika. That's a good one.
So good.
I'm not a big fan of Millennium Actress.
Really?
I think it looks nice. But I think I was bored. I don't know. I wish I liked it more.
It's like
maybe I need to rewatch it.
It's so sad. Like if I don't know. I don't think it's like one of those things where you have to like analyze the story, like what's happening, right?
Yeah.
She's telling like a story, right? And like, well, I don't want to. It's like a huge spoiler, but
sure.
But it's kind of sad. Millennium Actress, I loved it, but I think what helped too is the musical score. All of it's done by. I don't know if have you watched Paranoia Agent?
Yeah, I was gonna say I would like to go through that again. I remember catching some episodes on Adult Swim.
So Satoshi Kon did that that show as well. But like, did you like the music in it? Like, did you like the intro song? Like that?
Oh
that guy?
Yeah.
So Susumu Hirasawa is the music composer. He did the music for Millennium Actress, and I think that also really heightened the experience for me. Is because I was really big fan of that composer.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the main reasons why I watched Berserk. I don't know if you ever saw Berserk.
Yeah, are you talking about the older one, not the shit CGI?
Yeah,
I'm assuming
not the shitty. Yeah, shitty. There's two CGI ones. The movie CGIs are pretty good, right? The TV CGI one, oh my god, what a piece of shit that was.
Yeah, well, visually,
story was alright, but visually was just vomit.
Yeah, Berserk hasn't had the from what I've been told, hasn't been given the attention that it really deserves.
Yeah.
With anime. So
Yeah, it's this Kentaro Miura, the guy who draws it, takes like 10 years to do each volume.
Oh well, yeah. Have you seen the fucking detail in his manga?
Yeah, dude,
Jesus
his
Christ.
like it's so good. It's so good.
And that's the other thing too, is like the reason I liked Kenshin when I was younger. I think I like historical fictions when it comes to the samurai feudal stuff, because I picked up 2 omnibuses of Blade of the Immortal. Blade of the Immortal kicks ass, and then it made me. Then I'm just like, yep, I'm going to buy the rest of the series now, and I did. So
did you? That's cool. I'm not familiar. I'm familiar with it, but I haven't read any of it.
Blade of the Immortal. Let's see. So it's 2 things that I like. So one, feudal Japan, historical fictions, whatever. But the second one is stories about immortals. I love stories about immortals. There was a game called The Lost Odyssey on the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
It played like a standard JRPG, but I liked the story. I liked it quite a bit. You think being immortal would kick ass. No, it doesn't. You're living for 1,000 years, and you're seeing your friends be born and die all the time. That's such a fascinating concept to me, that you get to see this cycle of life and see things degrade, see kingdoms rise and then fall. So, you got a main character that's immortal.
Yeah.
And there's shit that he gets to deal with because of that. Now, granted, he starts being immortal at it's not like he lived for 1,000 years. It's he just got this thing that made him immortal, and he's been not just, but he's had it for a little while. So it's not like he's had a past of seeing all the shit. But I'm talking about in immortal stories in general. So I'm sure I will get to that concept later as the series continues. But yeah, cool stuff. So anyway, thanks for listening to that dork.
I know we totally went on this whole anime tangent.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's there's so many good things that there's clear art designs that are inspired in video games, that are correlated with that. So because I know you like that shit too.
Oh yeah, I love all that shit. And it's funny because I have lives where I'll talk about anime and it just goes crazy. Everyone's like, oh yeah, and starts throwing in like they're doing now. A lot of people are throwing in what they like. New Wave Ghost says Parasite is a decent modern anime. Yes, Parasite was great actually. I used to read the manga in something called Mix Zine. I really liked Parasite. Parasite was good.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, it's violent, but weird. It's good. It's really violent, but it's a good one.
There was one that I read near the end of high school, and I already know they have an OVA of it, but the OVA is fucking trash.
What was it?
In my opinion. You probably heard of it. It's Elfen Lied.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
that had a series, wasn't it? Elfen Lied had 12 episode series, I believe. Yeah,
it sucks because I read the manga. Now, let me go back a second.
I didn't read the manga.
The first time a lot of people's first experience with Akira is the movie. My first experience is I went to my library and they had a graphic novel section that I was completely unaware of. And there lies all 6 books of Akira.
Oh, nice.
Wow. So let's read them. When I read that, it was one of those feelings where I would look at this page and be like, oh, wow, that's I'm a teenager, but I don't know what I said, but to how I would describe it at that time would be like, oh my God, that's fucked up. But then I continue reading it because you're like, this is so fucked up, but I'm reading it anyway because it's so engaging.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so when I got older and read Elfen Lied, I felt like everything was pointing to me like this should not be enjoyable, but oh my God, is it? For instance, the main character has a relationship with his cousin, which is gross, but I mean, Japan, there you go. But the other thing is it was very hyper violent and the art style was so primitive. But it kept on shocking me. It's like, where are they going to go with this? It kept shocking me. And the characters develop and grow and all that stuff. It was just so fucked that I could not stop reading it. So, and that one is also
awesome.
hyper violent.
Oh, okay.
But you'd look at the cover of the manga and you'd be like, what's this cutesy shit? Like you'd know some like Japanese girl that's like 12 was like going through a manga store. It's like, oh, what's this? This looks cute. They open the page and they're like, oh my god, and then like they're terrified. But there's just one moment specifically in the beginning where just like she pretty much disembowels and bodies like every fucking limb this guy has. And it's just like, it got to the point, it's like, okay, she rips his legs off, rips his arms off, and he's just screaming and bloody murder, calling her a bitch. And it's like, okay, what possibly could she do now? Turn the next page, makes his eyes fucking explode. I'm like, oh my god, come on, dude. So it's just like, it's a shocker book. Let's just say that. Anyway,
Super Boo says this has turned into everything cast.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. We should end now. I gotta go to bed.
Gamer, he's an old friend. He says, how much for the anime attachment for the polymega?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's funny. Does anyone know where to find a list of compatible SSDs for the polymega? I can't find it on their website. Yeah, that's actually a good thing to bring up, because some of them, I had one that didn't work and it like was making the polymega freak out. So
was it the Westingate or whatever it's called?
No, it wasn't. Western Digital was one of the ones that they recommend not to get, but it was another brand. I forgot what it was called. Shit, if I can remember.
I think I got Crucial or something.
Yeah,
that should be fine.
I ended up getting the replacement one I got was a SanDisk, because I've never had anything SanDisk fail on me.
SanDisk is a good brand.
But I ended up getting a SanDisk. I paid $20 more for it because I was like, you know what? I trust this. The first brand I got, someone had recommended it to me on a live stream, and I got it, but it ended up being not good. Here it is. It was Sabrent. And I have RAM from Sabrent, and it was fine, but Sabrent is the brand, and it ended up like frying. It worked. After I formatted it, it worked, and I saved a few games, and then it died. And it was making the polymega super hot. And the polymega kept going into like a nonstop reboot, and I had just gotten my second unit. So I was like, oh no, do I have a bad second unit? So I pull out the drive, and the polymega worked fine after that. So I was like, shit, it's the brand. Sabrent sounds like an off-brand. Oh yeah. But it was $100. I ended up taking it back. I got a SanDisk 1 terabyte for $120. And that one works great. That's what's in there now. No issues, no heat problems. Yep. So apparently avoid Sabrent as well.
Okay. Good to know.
But anyway, so we should probably end this now.
Definitely.
We tried. Definitely. We tried to end it like half an hour ago, and then I don't know what happened.
It's because I can keep talking. That's the problem.
But that's all right. That's what happens here. But hey, this first live one, other than the first 5 minutes or so, was pretty good. I don't know. How do you feel about doing these live?
I like it quite a bit.
Do you want to do them live?
You could, because that way, every other week? Because here's the benefit of this is that people get the content quicker as well.
They do. They get it live, and we get to interact.
This exactly, and not only that, this God, what was I going to mention about that?
Probably good for your viewership too, because people are watching you live. You're interacting with them in real time.
I like people asking me questions as well.
Right.
I like that. Yeah. Anyway, we might have to start picking a more specific date, whether that's going to be Sunday or Wednesday,
or Tuesday or Thursday. I mean, we can change if we're going to go live. We can change it to a more convenient day.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But we'll do them every other week, like we are. But we might do them live. We'll talk about it. It's really up to you if you're down to do them live. We can keep doing them live.
I'm down for most things, so yeah.
Okay, then we'll just figure out what day is best, and we'll go from there. But anyway,
Sounds
guys, that is Cat Pat. If you're not subscribed to him, go ahead and subscribe. And
Thank you very
we
much.
will return with another Polycast in 2 weeks. I thank everybody for stopping in here tonight. And we will see you on the next Polycast. Peace, everyone, and have a good night. Bye-bye.
Peace out.